Welcome to the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He eats 5 McRibs in a single day, looks like John Turturro if he were the victim of a killer bee attack. Beef loaf. He made out with Louise Post while Richard Patrick watched. He's a consumer of fine beers, and he's anti-Paw Patrol. My Sock Summer. And your host. He still thinks the most racist thing in American history was leaving Shaq off the dream team. Terezi E.
Thank you for that introduction, Corn Z. This is the official 108 podcast. This is me, Terezi E, signing on and talking to you guys about baseball and bullshit.
Hell yeah.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
So welcome everyone. Very excited to have this going. If you're not familiar with us, and judging by the attendance, you're not. We are the 108. We're from the 108. We sit in the 108 in Comiskey Cellular Field Park rate. And you probably don't know much about us, so I'm going to kick it over to My Sock Summer. He's going to give you a little bit of the origin story of the 108.
Well, thank you, Terezi. It's lovely to be here. The 108, how did we start the 108? Back in 2012, I started a blog called My Sock Summer, where I attempted to go to 50 games for under $500. I was an underemployed new resident of Bridgeport, so I decided that I had to do something to keep myself busy or else I was going to get addicted to heroin. So I started going to Sox games, which is almost as detrimental to your health as heroin. So I start going, spoiler alert, I do actually go to more games. Actually, I go to 53 games for $400. So you don't even have to read all 67 blog posts. I just told you the end off. I gave you the money shot right there. And I took a break after that in 2013, 2014, 2015, we're sitting in the 108 all together because we're all buds, and a guy decides that he doesn't like the way that the wave is going. And I'm looking, we're watching him, and he, as soon as the wave comes around the first time, this guy fires off a big middle finger as soon as the wave goes by. We all lose our shit. We start laughing. We're like, hey, you know what? We need to record this. So we start recording it. My first shot, I do it in freaking portrait. It's horrible. So I have hope, and the guy does it again. I do it. I get it in landscapes, beautiful. Throw it up on the YouTube. Gets picked up by Deadspin and every other ragtag. Every other
40 of them to say that.
Every other ragtag sports thing out there. People start stealing it. I end up selling the license, and that's when the big man Beef Loaf comes around and is like, hey, I see some potential in this. We could do something, and we can make some noise and talk about our experiences at Sox Park while we're sitting here downing multiple, Miller Lights and doing all of the crazy things that we do over in the 108.
So I want to give a little more background on
not
on the 108,
No,
but on
perfect.
that guy.
Oh, okay.
So we got, the reason we were even paying attention to that guy was we got to the park. We're sitting there, and this guy comes and sits a couple rows in front of us with this huge bag. Like, he brought in
Reusable shopping bag.
brought in his own food. That's a legit
Nothing
thing.
wrong with that.
You
Nothing
can
wrong
totally
with that.
do that,
Right.
unless you're My Sock Summer trying to bring in a couple pizzas. They frown upon that.
Maybe it's because I was holding. That's
It
why we
was.
couldn't get him in.
It was because
No?
they thought it was weed. Look at this fucking brazier. So we kind of got an eye on this guy now because he's got a duffel bag worth of food, and he goes in there in the first inning and crushes a burrito.
A burrito.
Yeah, like a full fucking burrito. Not like oh, I got this little burrito at the shop. No. This is the 18-inch Mandingo burrito
It was a
from
big burrito.
Pancho's Pistolas,
Well, and as Slumbuster would say, he was not sharing with the class.
No.
This
This was all for him.
No.
All for me. And he's taken stat down, and then it's the second inning, and he pulls a hamburger out,
Yep.
right? And he crushes a hamburger, right? And the next few innings, it continues like it's a fucking magic show.
It's a yes.
Just he keeps this and that. I was waiting for another human being to come out from that bag. So obviously we're paying attention to this guy, and then when he flicked off the wave, we were like, yes, this is our guy. Never saw him again.
Haven't seen him.
He's in the video. He's never seen the video because he had a flip phone. There's no way he has the internet. This guy is just vanished. I'm not even sure it was a real person. I think we captured some kind of phantasm.
He had a flip phone.
He did.
So he's probably not like too connected with media, but the video did get purchased by Ridiculousness and shown on Ridiculousness. So I can only imagine one night while he's mowing down another burrito and watching Ridiculousness, he's like, holy fuck, that's my fat neck. I mean, he has to be like that. And then he's going to come looking for me. And I've wrote, I think, 2 blogs about it. And we've been looking for him. I wanted to share the news with him. And I have never seen him since then. So it's been really depressing.
They're like desperately seeking Susan letters that he put out into the ether to try to get this guy to come back, but he hasn't been able to.
So we started the blog. We got into that for a little while. We still do the blog. It's one of the core things that we do. We love just kind of toss things around. We get guest posts and things.
Yep.
And then Beef Loaf came to us with an idea. And much like all of Beef Loaf's good ideas, My Sucks Summer and I looked at him and said, the fuck are you talking about? And so he urged us on, and, after 2 or 3 beers, we'll do anything, ask some of the fellows we've met in the bathroom, and never mind, that's a different story. So he urges us on, and we're like, yeah, fine, we'll do it. So Beef Loaf, tell the people at home about the Sunday Soak.
Okay, so I have to give at least partial credit to My Sucks Summer, because he and I were sort of spitballing some ideas about how do we turn all this written stuff that people seem to be liking and our goofy shit on Twitter into something that's a little more either sound or video or whatever. We sort of thought video was a better angle for us. And just from anyone who's watched the Sunday Soak, there's a fair amount of physical stuff in there that would constitute what 108 things are. So we sort of spitballed a little bit. And right around when we were coming up with this idea or the thought, like, maybe we could use that hot tub, maybe we could sit in there, is around the time we were befriended by Justin from Baderbrow, back when Justin was with Baderbrow. And so we were lining up to meet them. It was for the second tailgate we're going to meet them at. Teresa, you and I met them at the first tailgate, Justin and Eric and a bunch of those guys, and Rob, and had a great time with them, hung out. And then for the second tailgate, My Sock Summer, because he's got huge balls and he's willing to ask anyone anything, pitches the idea to Justin, and they immediately fucking love it. So now all of a sudden we have ourselves a beer sponsor, and now we have to figure out how to do a video in a hot tub, which was, the first video that we did, we were like, My Sock Summer and I just did it. Teresa, you must have been out of town. We were like 2 polite little boys. We did like 11 minutes. I don't think we even swore once. And it was like, okay, that's it. And we're like, we were like, you remember Wayne's World when Wayne leaves?
Yes,
and Garth's left by himself? That's how we were for the entire 11 minutes.
So, it's understandable, right? Because what is the history of hot tub videos? There's the Eddie Murphy doing the James Brown hot tub show.
Yes.
There's all this stuff on Pornhub. And then Mark Chimura. So there's not really a huge
the entire timeline.
Yeah, there's not a huge catalog to go off of and say like, I want to emulate this, So I think it's difficult to find your legs or your or your beautiful breasts, our beautiful man breasts in a hot tub video. So I think from my standpoint, I think it's been a really well received video, which I thought for sure no one would want to watch.
I would have to agree with you. And over time, the thing sort of, I don't want to say matured, because then it would lead you to believe that there's some very intelligent things being said in there. But what it's done is
we would be listed as mature
for
on
mature
Pornhub.
audience. Yes.
If it was a Pornhub hot tub video, we would be mature.
Absolutely. But the thing has grown over time, and we've sort of worked on what we're doing in there as far as content and also how it looks and how we want to look and how we want to sort of present that thing. But yeah, the initial one was, and we also went through a period where we tried to make it like a sitcom. So we're going to do 30 minutes. We're going to do 35 minutes. And at some point we just decided, let's throw that out the window. And then when we really got excited about doing it is when we started taking Twitter questions, and we would devote entire shows to just the Twitter questions. So if you want to go back and check any of these out, they're on Facebook Live, they're on Periscope, and there's some great ones. The folks that participate via Twitter send us the craziest fucking questions you could ever imagine, and we take every single one.
And those
are beautiful.
And the beginning ones are short, the later ones are long. This is going to be way longer than any of that. Just so strap in for this. Like we said, at the time it was Baderbrau was our sponsor, and so we were drinking Baderbrau all the time. Unfortunately, Baderbrau no longer exists. So for this podcast, we're going to be drinking different stuff each week, and we're going to introduce you to it because that's one of the things we really like to do. Drink a whole lot and tell you people about it. So, My Sock Summer, tell us a little bit about the couple beers that we're drinking today.
Okay, well, tonight we started with a pre-show beer, the Lagunitas limited release Mazenga, I think it is. It's a delicious little cheapy bomber that you can get for like under $6. Mosaic hops and has tangerine in it and mango, I think. I'm not even going to go grab the bottle, fuck it. And
it actually has mango from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah,
My Sock Summer likes to lube us up early when we get together. He likes to get a drink in us before we get going.
Listen, I don't want to be on mic. I definitely don't want to be in a hot tub with you guys and not had some form of alcohol running through my system. I literally did not drink during dinner today because I wanted to be fresh and play the rules right, But I should have probably had a drink. Now, the first beer we're drinking right now is an APA, and it's from Brickstone Brewery. I was turned on to this by Farmer Matt, who is a character in our human zoo. So it is a American Pale Ale, so that means it's not as bitter as what you would get. It's rather sweet, and it clocks in at a 6.25 alcohol, which is that's a pretty solid beer right there. And it's made in Bourbonnais. Farmer Matt's lovely wife is from Bourbonnais, so Matt has been to the Brickstone Brewery, and I'm assuming got very drunk and probably said some inappropriate things. So it's a great first beer for the night. The second beer we're doing is a Revolution Brewing. It is a take on one of their other beers. It's called a Eugene Porter, but it's a coffee Eugene Porter, which is delicious. Oh, I thought Crazy was going to grab one for me. I think it's a 6.8. We haven't had that yet. When we crack that, I will definitely say something. Yeah, it's coffee Eugene. It's a porter with coffee. It's. I don't know if you guys have had the Eugene Porter. I know we all at this table have, but the Eugene Porter is good. And also, if you drink about 4 of them, you are lit up. You're ready to party.
And that's generally the goal of 108ing. Yes. To get a little lit up and be ready to party.
I mean, are we jumping to the gun here and going right into 108ing?
No. Just throwing it out there.
Speaking of,
I don't know how we can not talk about 108 and talk about drinking. I understand that. I'm 100% on board.
And also our intro story. I mean, that's like the current portion.
There's a lot of drinking that goes on.
Yeah, I mean, Beef, get into the 108ing. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Amongst other things that we've done over time, videos and variety of different types of, I guess we'll call it media, but we're not really media. We're just dickheads who like to say stuff. I decided to try and create a hashtag, which didn't catch on for shit. I did it for the whole year 2017. The boys tried to help me here. We tried to push it. No one paid attention to it in 2017.
We all enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it.
I thought it was hilarious.
We tried it.
From the get-go, it was hilarious.
We tried hashtag 108ing on Twitter for a while, and nothing took. And then in 2018, sort of in the off-season, it started to pick up a little bit of steam. And then into the season, it really started to get going. And a player on the 2018 roster, one Daniel Palka, our guy, happened to pick up on the 108ing hashtag and decided to make it his own. And so then everyone and their mama wanted to hashtag 108ing something because they assumed Daniel Palka was out there watching. They assumed the guy was in right field, like checking his phone every 6 minutes to look at the hashtag 108ing.
I'm pretty sure he was.
When truth be told, it was literally us hashtagging that stuff, or retweeting that stuff.
He was too busy looking for poo dollars.
That's looking to avoid them, basically. Yes.
So the 108ing has caught on.
And like good marketers that we are.
We're 108ing right now.
Correct.
And so let me tell you a little bit about some 108ing and a little bit about the song you heard when the show started. That is a song called "Addicted to Sound" from a band called Glad Hand. That was a band I was in my very early 20s, maybe teens. Don't tell the bar promoters that let me into their places to play. And it was a three-piece with the Ramirez brothers.
Yes.
And not the Menendez brothers, the Ramirez brothers. So there was three of us. It's three-piece power trio. And every practice we did the same thing. We got either a 30 of Busch Light or a jug of Carlo Rossi wine.
Both strong plays.
I don't
Both
know.
strong plays in your early
And-
20s.
No, the wine. Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's good for you.
Oh,
nice,
man.
nice table wine.
I don't know.
Good for the heart.
I-
The wine is good for the heart.
So, and what we would do is we would practice until that was gone. Practice did not end until we finished everything. So that was only 10 beers apiece, but it's Busch Light.
And
It's
as a
Busch Light.
14-year-old, that's great.
So I thought for this podcast, since there's three of us, we'll do something similar. But since we're drinking craft beer, not a 30 pack.
Yeah.
So every show, we're gonna drink a 12 pack of craft beer. And the show will go on until we're done. At the pace we're at right now, there's about 40 seconds left of the show. But we don't want you to be left out. We want you to be able to 108 with us. Get your 108ing on at home. So we've devised a little drinking game, and I'm going to give you the rules. But as we go, as this podcast grows, and you keep listening to it, and you keep drinking with us, I'd like you to come up with your own rules and send them to us. Tell us, this is the rule that I came up with after listening to your dumbasses because you do this so much.
Right.
So pick out some of our idiosyncrasies, tell us about those, and drink to them. But to start, I'm going to give you guys what we're going to have you drink to, which is, first, My Sox Summer. When he does not know a player, especially a major league player, you have to take a drink.
Okay, Teresa, I got a question. What is the baseline for him not knowing a player? I wanted to set an actual player baseline.
So-
Let's name the player who is the break even of where if the player is more known than that player, he has to drink.
Sure.
I have to drink too?
Oh, yeah, you
Oh,
have
you
to
do,
drink.
for sure, but
All
the
right.
fans.
Drink too.
well,
I mean,
fans
I'm drinking
don't-
anyway.
Well, that's true.
I think the one that sticks out for me,
Oh, God.
that is a good bar to set, is Lance Lynn. Not knowing who Lance Lynn was during our free agent segment last year, that's peak My Sox Summer.
When he was like the number 2 or 3 pitching free agent,
Right.
And it was like I don't know.
And
who
this,
that guy is.
like to if you haven't seen that Sunday Soak, this was like towards the end of the winter when we're like, there's only 5 guys left, and Lance Lynn obviously was one of them. So it was that's the bar. He has to know a player of equal value of Lance Lynn or in the Sox organization, right? Like if we throw out a Laz Rivera and he says,
Who the fuck is that?
everyone drinks. So
I still don't know who Lance Lynn is.
but you know Jeff Lynn is because
even though he's
you
one
love
away
the
from-
Traveling Wilburys.
I know Amber Lynn.
Okay.
Or Ginger Lynn.
in the
Wait.
biblical sense,
No, not in the biblical. No. I mean,
there's some tales
He
to
had
be
to
told.
think about it. He had to think about it.
13-year-old me definitely wishes that he knew her in the biblical sense.
All right, and then the next one
Wasn't
is
married at 13.
whenever Beef Loaf gives an advanced stat at all. I don't care if it's to make a point or not to make a point. Anything that's not batting average, you have to drink. I mean ERA. We'll give ERA.
What about
You
like
don't-
runs, home runs? Those are good. Right?
Yeah, those are fine.
Original,
I mean, like
the original baseball card, back of the baseball card stats are okay.
Let me put it this way.
Okay.
If Phil Rogers has it in his column, it's an old school stat that we don't care about.
It doesn't matter.
If anyone with half a brain has put it in their column, it's an advanced stat that Beef Loaf was probably going to use at some point. And when he uses it, not to make fun of him, but you get to drink with him.
That's right.
Nice.
That's correct.
And then I'm not going to do this because I'd pass out while we do this show. But every time I swear, every time you get a Cheweezy.
Oh, the Tweezy.
Good old Cheweezy. Every time you get a Cheweezy swear word, you got to drink. So
Swear word.
Swear
Not when
word.
he swears. When it's a swear word.
it's a swear word.
Yeah.
It's a swear word. There
see,
might
this
be
is-
kids listening.
You just
I
said
hope
it kind
not.
of weird, you know?
Draw the line at swear word.
Oh, I mean,
Is shit a swear word?
yeah,
Oh,
shit's
God,
a swear
yeah.
word. Here's
What? I'm
I will
saying
draw it at
ass.
the.
Where's ass at?
Ass
No.
is not.
Okay.
But let's go with the George Carlin 7
Exactly.
words.
That's who we need
the
to go
easy
to.
line.
All right,
we'll
fine.
go with that. That seems easy
Shit, piss, motherfucker, cocksucker, and tits.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I were to sing one of his wonderful songs, it would be.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we
Just
use
start
the
chugging, right?
we say cocksucker a lot, so I don't know.
do,
It's
yeah.
gonna. You guys better get a lot of beers ready.
We'd be
Maybe-
kicked out of a lot of games because we say.
Well, it's only if
cocksucker
I
that
swear.
much.
It's only if
true.
I swear.
Oh, so-
So,
yeah, that's
so if
true.
you guys swear, you can
Are you
swear all
gonna
you want.
Are you
So we
gonna
can
try
swear
to
you
turn down the swears?
No, not at all.
Okay.
In fact, everyone should fucking drink right now.
I also
Oh,
think
why not?
that if you would particularly do not want to get drunk, they should avoid the podcast after the hot stove is over, because I have a feeling that you might be a little fired up when that comes down.
When the hot stove conversation comes up shortly, there
sorry.
will be f bombs.
Yeah.
There will be f bombs.
I'm sorry.
100%.
I didn't even know that we were doing that. Everyone drink.
You should have not. I don't even know what the hot stove is.
We made a shirt. That's all I know.
I'm wearing it right now.
Yes.
All right,
I'm in
so
costume.
what you're probably thinking at this point, listening to this, you're probably going, "Oh God, why did you guys make a podcast?" So now I'm gonna let Beefloaf answer why we made a podcast.
That's a great question. So initially, I think if we rewound this thing back 6 months or so, we probably positioned the idea of a podcast for a long time. And I think as a group, we've sort of been negative on it. We sort of like the spontaneity of videos. We like the Sunday soak situation. We like to do all of our stuff where you can visually see us. So you can see how fucking stupid we look or how handsome we look in whatever setting we're in.
We're all Adonis.
We are the best looking White Sox
Yes.
blog of all.
Oh,
When
yeah,
you
I mean-
average together our looks and you put it against the other blogs, it's not even close.
Oh yeah,
Every
I mean,
blog that's 37 years and older, we are the best looking.
No, I disagree. Even the younger blogs, they got a couple handsome
I'm
guys,
telling you.
and then not all of them are good looking. I'm
That
just
Johnny
telling you.
Nani.
I mean,
Carrying some weight, but you know.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. We all know this. People love tits, and boy, do we got 'em.
We got plenty of it.
I mean,
We
I
got
think
more
we're
than a
all-
handful,
We're
sir.
all easy B cups, possibly roaming into the C.
I think I'm in C.
territory.
I'm in C territory over
Yeah.
here.
he moved
Yeah.
up in the offseason.
I did.
He's been
I
bulking
did.
up a little bit.
I can't tell because you're wearing your bro, so I don't know. Or is it a Manzier?
It's a bra.
Manzier.
So we've had people in our ear too over time telling us you guys should do a podcast. People tweeting us we should do a podcast. But it really started to hit us a little bit the last time we did the Shy Sox Weekly podcast, which was their final pod of the year. Afterwards, we had a little DM conversation on Twitter with Tony Marchese. And Tony pointed out some things that he thought we should be doing. And one of them was we should probably jump into the podcast realm. He just thought that a lot of what we do, a lot of what we say, people will be entertained by in this format too. I was still a little reticent as well because I think the physical humor, I don't even know if I want to call it that occurs when we do videos, we can't capture here. So you can't see how fucking ridiculous I look right now, or if we're flipping each other off, or whatever we're doing that's fun stuff. You know?
My Sock Summer's tweaking his nipples right now. So I mean,
But
like,
he always is, you know? So you can kind of envision that. But I'm talking about the other stuff, the things that we really add to these
Alright,
things,
yeah.
you know? So I wasn't sure. And then our buddy Josh Nelson from Sox Machine came to us and was sort of like, hey guys, I think you should be doing a podcast. I'm happy to help you. And so he really talked us through some of the beginning steps of this. And he's been sort of a mentor to us, sort of getting this up and running.
so you know what? I feel like you were encouraged by these people to do a podcast.
Yes.
I feel like I was shamed into doing a podcast by both Tony and Josh, and from different directions. So Tony is actually in the same industry as me. He knows we know where each other worked, you know, that kind of thing.
Wow.
And he,
It sounds like a little budding
Yeah.
bromance.
yeah, you know,
you know?
that's how these things go.
Hey,
Seems
you know?
And so
horny.
he was like, "Oh, you can do this, you know, you're a tech guy, you know." So he hit me from that side, and then Josh came and was like, "Well, you could do this kind of thing. You're a musician." And so now I'm sitting there going like, "Well, now I'm an asshole if I don't do this." Asshole counts, by the way.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, let me do a little bit of research. You know, I got the mics already. You know, I pick up a couple things, and yeah, away we go. And here's our podcast, and now we're taking what we started as the blog, which we're still very passionate about, and moving it to podcast form. And I think there's some advantages to that. Like, so this is something that like recently happened. Like, Lawrence Holmes did an interview for us, which was super nice of him. I may have begged for it. Who knows? You know,
You ain't too proud to beg.
who knows what the emails were? Who knows if I cried about, come on, you went to DePaul too? You know, that kind of thing. But whatever, it happened. And so he gave us this great interview, and I like really enjoyed it. I was a little crushed that, you know, he called his least favorite Sox player of all time James Shields.
Oh, such bullshit.
But there's so many more.
So that, you know,
Yeah, you gotta
my
think
guy.
deeper than that. That's
Literally.
too recent.
And
bro.
I would love to at some point pick his brain about this game when he went off on Marquise Grissom in the outfield, because Marquise Grissom also near and dear to my heart.
That's right. It's a little Treasy favorite.
If you remember from the '90s, that was one of my favorite guys back then.
Yeah, I do remember.
But overall, I was like very happy with what we got. I feel like there was part of it that My Sox Summer was maybe not super happy about. So I'm gonna let you air it out. Let's get it out. Take your shirt off. Let's see. Let's
Take
see
my
what you got.
shirt off. I don't know. You know what? He said in the interview that one of the parts that he hates about the game was it the game, or was it just
It was
fan
something that irks
experience?
him. It was
Yeah, something that irks him. He said adult autograph seekers, which, if he's thinking what I'm thinking, then I'm in agreement with him. Now, the guy that is at a game down there with a ball, pushing away kids, trying to get an autograph on a ball, that guy kind of sucks. But I also think that there's a lot of kids down there that are working for that guy that he's still going to flip and sell on eBay or whatever. I myself am a big collector. I collect a lot of bobbleheads. I just wrote a blog recently about the best giveaways. Talked a lot about bobbleheads from 2018. Check it out. We're on WordPress. And I don't necessarily go after players at a game to get an autograph. I do go to Sox Fest, which, if we took Lawrence's advice, there would be no Sox Fest, because it's all adults, mostly adults, and with their kids. A lot of guys with their kids. There's daughters there too, and I don't see. I'm not upset by it.
I don't think he was going after like, hey, you go to Sox Fest to get.
Yeah,
autographs,
no, it's
right?
the guy at the park.
I think and I think it's the guy yelling into the dugout, "Hey, Kopech, give me your autograph," right? And so I think,
Why you got to call out Wally like that?
hey, I didn't. You put a name on it. All right, I didn't do that.
I mean, the
But
motherfucker's
here's-
going to have to pitch the next day. Don't be yelling for an autograph. Christ almighty.
Hey,
Wally.
guy needed a nap after that.
Wally Money was doing Wally Money things. That's all.
But I kind of wonder, like, the adult autograph seeker is the guy like you,
Yes.
who pretty much reserves it for Sox Fest, or maybe someone's doing a paid appearance.
There has been. I won't pay.
And maybe you stop down once in a while and get a ball signed, but you're not pushing kids out of the way. Do you think that you are the actual, like the actual adult autograph seeker? Are you the majority, or are you the minority here?
Total minority.
So the majority,
Yes.
are fucked up.
Well, there's guys, and I'm not going to call him out by his name, but there's guys that at
Guy.
Sox.
That's what he meant to say. There's guy. That guy. Well, I won't say his name.
There's a guy that I'm friends with. I like him a lot, but he is very particular about how he gets his shit autographed. And he had turned down Kopech. He turned down Kittle because they weren't going to sign it where he wanted them to sign it. So he waited in the line and then said, "You know what? No, you're not ruining my stuff with the way you're going to do this." And I wrote a blog about that last year too. About
I don't like it actually.
Kopech started personalizing stuff, and in the midst of Sox Fest, not at the beginning, whatever, started personalizing a lot of stuff, and the kid wasn't in the league. And not that I I think there's anything wrong with that, but I think you need to, set rules and do it either do it always or don't do it. So that was my take on that shit. But
So
Do you mind if I have a take here? And
Yeah, I was
any
actually-
chance we ever have of getting another famous person?
I was going to ask you, B-Flip, because we grew up getting autographs. So I would
Correct.
like your take on this.
you guys
So-
are like little hired hands,
So
right?
correct.
Yeah.
So specifically on autographs, I mean, I don't mind any of that business at all. I actually, we had the discussion after the Kopech thing when he was refusing to sign certain things or was personalizing everything.
Right.
I don't mind that angle, and I also don't mind if people want to get autographs and sell them for profit or whatever they want
Right.
to do with them. I actually don't think any of that is out of bounds. I think all of it really, is fair game. What the players, if they want to monetize the autograph, they can. If they don't want to monetize it, they don't have to. So all that stuff to me, I don't mind. I don't mind if adults want to get them or not. The peculiar thing to me about that particular person saying this is that he doesn't want adults to fanboy out on baseball player autographs, but he would like adults to fanboy out on his radio show. Yeah. So that seemed a little hypocritical to me, or just maybe I don't understand quite.
Well,
but I think it's okay if people fanboy out, and so the fact that is the thing that grinds your gears. It's like, don't you want radio fans?
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that fanboying out, right? Like, I feel like if you're a fanboy of something, you might be really into it. You might be like us, and you might just you start a podcast, you talk about it all the time. You go to the the events and things like that.
Right.
But I mean, you think people are showing up at the studio while he's working and reaching in, give me a fucking autograph?
No, different. It's no, you're taking it a little too literally.
Well, yeah,
you want
but
people to be really into stuff,
Yes,
right?
you
So
want them to be
if
into
you have
it,
a radio
but
show or we have a podcast or a blog, we want people to be really into it.
But are the adult autograph seekers really into it, or
Materially, I think they are.
they just really into having a collection of autographs and not so much baseball?
Do you want me to take that, or you?
Either one of you guys
take it.
take
But I think that they are. I think you wouldn't try to get an autograph for anything you're not really into. I mean, it's the inverse. It seems bizarre unless you were trying to make a business out of it.
Right.
That's different, but that's not everybody either.
That's not, but
I think there's a lot of guys, and I as a guy that collected, I used to collect toys, used to buy toys, sell toys on
Did
eBay.
you get most of them out in the wild?
Yes, they were all out in the wild, motherfucker. But there is a thrill of the chase. There is a thrill of the hunt to go and find something someplace. There is definitely something awesome about finding a toy that is worth $45 for $5 at a thrift store or at a whatever.
For sure. I mean, it used to be like trying to find a rare EP from
Yes.
some band, right? Which
Yes.
you don't have that anymore, but the same idea, being able to find something cool.
Now it's the double color vinyl limited press of 150 that was sold for 13 seconds on Record Store Day. Which I'm not into vinyl, so I don't know most of this stuff, but I read things. But yeah, no, I think that for me the bobbleheads were definitely my go, and then if I can get autographs on the bobbleheads, I'm amped for that. And then I have one ball. I have an 05 ball. And the one time at a game that I went for a day game, and I got Juan Uribe to sign the 05 ball. And the much older gentleman to my right, who was also trying to get people to sign stuff, was like, he's not going to sign. He's not going to sign. And I'm like, well, he's not going to sign for you because he sees you in every other city. He might sign for me because he doesn't know who the fuck I am and considers me probably a fan. And he's like, you know what? I'll sign that shit. So, and this was pre getting hit right in the cup. So this is pre-cup. You're on Uribe.
hit in the non-cup.
It was a fabulous signature.
So I just want to end this with one thing. We used to go get autographs as kids. Me and Beefloaf.
Those are part of the problem.
Yeah,
We were
definitely
the industry
part of the
for
problem.
everyone.
We got a bunch of Frank Thomases for a guy who was a big time collector.
We actually saw him this summer. It was good to see
saw
him.
him
We
the
hadn't
scenes.
seen him in years, and it was good to hang out with him.
He's a great dude. But here's the thing. I want to tell you about this guy is just great at fucking everything. Nolan Ryan. He's great at beating up Robin Ventura.
Yes.
He's great at throwing no-hitters.
Yes.
He was great at the autograph game, too. So here's what he would do. He'd get off the bus, and he would say, everyone line up. everyone got in a fucking straight line because you do what Nolan Ryan says,
Right.
right? So we get in a straight
Country
line,
strong,
and he
bro.
says, if I see one person come through twice, I'm stopping and I'm going. And we got up there. We were very lucky. We got up there. About 2 people behind us, some fucking dickhead comes up, and Nolan goes, I've seen you before, and just walks away. Fucking 25 people in line. I'm surprised that guy didn't get murdered.
Why didn't he get beat up? Yeah.
But Nolan was fair. You're right.
yeah.
He was fair about it. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's how you do it. That's if someone wants to mess it up for the whole class, that's theirs to deal with when he walks away. I loved
Absolutely.
it. So we want to get into some hot stove, but first, we gotta pay our bills. So
Yes, we do.
We'll do a little ad read and then on to hot stove.
Are you a single lady who needs to move? Need help getting your shit packed? Call Dan at Dutch Movers. 25 years experience packing your shit. Give Dan a call at 708-331-2990. And the 108 reminds you, if it ain't Dutch, it ain't much.
That was beautiful.
That was wonderful.
All right.
I'm moist right now.
I'm moved by the moving ad. All right, so we're going to get into some hot stove talk. There's a lot to cover here. This is going to be we're 35 minutes into the show. This
Get
is going
your
to be
beers ready, folks.
This is going to be the next,
your
140
beers
minutes
ready.
of the show.
It won't last that long, I don't think.
So
Not for me.
our guy Beefloaf has had this on his mind for a while.
I'm
So-
sweating bullets with this.
I'm going to let him talk about a little Adam Engel that he's had on his mind.
So I told. So Adam Engel, news came out that Adam Engel. Well, I mean, we sort of knew this would a likelihood because Adam Engel played well, and he had all the ESPN highlights, right? He had all the jumping over the fence and catching home runs. Never mind that his route to a fly ball wasn't always the best when we were watching from Section 108. Regardless,
Jesus Christ.
the highlight film you could really tell, like, okay, this guy's making some super plays. So I was a little worried that he might be up for the Gold Glove, and then when they came down to the final vote, they announced the final 3 players involved. Of course, he's in the final 3. And I told My Sock Summer, I had half a blog post written about this that I canned. And it was right before that came out. And of course, he called me a pussy, like he should. I should have finished it and put it out. But my concern was, if Adam Engel were to somehow fluky win this fucking Gold Glove, we'll never be able to get him out of center field. He'll be there forever.
At least one more year. Yeah.
He'll be like the genital
Oh,
warts. No, he'll be like
It'll be forever?
No, it'll be at least 4
be
years.
very
He'll
Beckham.
be like the genital warts that were Gordon Beckham. Exactly. It'll be the exact same thing.
Genital
He don't got good hair, but it doesn't matter. He saved 3 home runs 6 years ago, so he's still going to be out there in center field.
Man.
I mean, I was like, because my whole thought process in the offseason was, you've got to move Adam Engel either to the bench or to Charlotte in order for this to be a good team.
Yeah.
That'd be my thought process. And so that had me so fucking nervous. I literally, the day that it was coming out, I was just like, please don't let him win. And I like Adam Engel, like, he as a try-hard guy, and like I root for him and everything, but I was like, please do not let this guy win this fucking Gold Glove, because he'll be here forever, and we'll never be able to get rid of him, and it'll be a detriment, all right? So
See, you
I'm
said,
so relieved.
He didn't win.
You said something there that I'm very interested in. You said he's a try-hard guy. I like him. I want him to succeed.
But not here.
I think we all want that, right?
Yes.
But the problem is, and the problem that I see in the fan base is, and this is kind of a good thing, but it bites us, right? We get emotionally attached to these guys, and we say we want these guys to succeed so bad that we start looking at them like our children, of like, they can do no wrong, right? Or if they do bad, we see that they're going to improve next time, right? Like that's we just want this for them, and it makes it difficult to let go of these guys, because if we're gonna be good, this is a team that lost 100 games.
Yes, a lot of changes
Most
need to
of
be made.
these guys can't be here because together, this group put together loses 100 games. So you need to get rid of those guys and bring in guys that will win games so that you could not lose 100 games. I know it's tricky. It's
I was gonna say, the
it's
math on this is
difficult
fairly straightforward.
to understand, but this is what has to happen, and there's gonna be guys where you're like, that's a good guy, right? There's the Nicky Delmonicos of the world where you're like, I want nothing more than good things for this guy.
For sure.
But on a good team, he's probably a AAA guy that comes up when someone gets injured.
Totally agree. When I was on with the Pinwheels and Ivy guys, and we were just talking through some of these guys, I was making the same point, Treasy. On good teams, you have a Nicky Delmonico and an Adam Engel at AAA.
Yes.
And when you get an injury, they come up and they don't embarrass themselves, and they're okay for 6 weeks.
Right.
And Nicky will give you good at bat, and Adam Engel will give you 6 good weeks in center field. Those are the type of those guys don't play every day. You don't want those guys out there every day if you're a good team. I got into arguments in the last couple days with people, and I'm not talking like we went back and forth a few barbs. I'm talking passionate fucking arguments about the merits of keeping Avi Garcia and the merits of Adam Engel should be starting until Lou Bob is here. Fans are just passionate about who they like. They just get into who they like, and it doesn't matter. Winning games has nothing to do with any of it. They just get into them. And I mean, I know fan is short for fanatic. That's fine with me. But like trying to talk to everyone about it's like, yeah, I want him to do well too. But guess what? He doesn't look like a major league hitter. He's got to be out of there.
Yeah, I think it's simple to me. Don't keep all the guys that lost you 100 games. I don't know why that's tough. I don't know why that's difficult for people to hear. Do you think Adam Engel was helping you win the 62 or helping you lose the 100? If you think it's helping you win the 62, it's still bad.
This guy in question actually told me in 2016 if they had Adam Engel, they'd have made the playoffs.
Get the fuck out of here.
Drink
9 times, because holy fucking fuck. That's fucking insane.
But
All right.
that's the Sox fan.
That doesn't have to be.
It
It doesn't have to
There
be.
is, and what's gonna come up now that from his last year was he was a finalist for the Golden Glove.
Yeah.
He improved from 2017 to 2018.
Yep, you're right.
He made highlight film.
You already hear about the
or whatever.
3 weeks where he hit.
Well,
Right,
but
like people are like,
that's
well, he's a good hitter now.
But that's what fucking people remember. They don't remember all the bullshit. They remember the good shit.
but
You're right.
I'm gonna fucking
oh,
I'm gonna trademark that shit right now. All right.
And
they
here's-
remember
here's-
the bullshit, not the or the good shit or the what?
Here's
the
a
good
good
shit, not
example.
the bullshit.
Here's a
Yeah.
good example that I saw on Twitter today. B-Flow from the 108 account posted about
Who's that guy?
about Avi's
Hello.
Avi's war over the past 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
And he has one really good war year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a snapshot.
2017.
0-0-0-4-0.
Yeah.
That's his war.
And there was a response that said the 2017 year is what I see as the norm.
That's just not.
So let me explain to you why casinos are open. When you see 5 things, 4 of them are exactly the same and one is vastly different. If you expect the vastly different thing to keep happening,
Right.
you're the fish at the table.
That's correct.
You're the guy who's going to lose a lot of money in that poker game that you're sitting at. You're the guy that at the blackjack table is going to double down on 6.
I think I know that guy.
I have doubled down on 6,
I
honestly.
think it might be related.
I've
to
seen you do it, yeah, actually.
I didn't know that I was even playing blackjack, though, so in my defense.
That's true. That's very true.
All right, enough Adam Engel. I got heartburn just talking about that. So the next thing I want to talk about is there's this new narrative about Manny Machado that he's like this lazy fuck, right? And I mean, couldn't have come out at a better time. What's going on with the Mariners? To say like, what the fuck is this? Like, how are we all of a sudden going in this incredibly difficult sport where people have to be in great physical condition to play it. They have to be exceptionally talented and have incredible focus. Are we calling one of the best players in the game a lazy guy? I just want to throw out to you, like, where's this come from? And also, when's the last time you heard that white player is very lazy? It's probably Rocco Baldelli, and that guy had an actual condition that made him fatigued.
Yes.
You know, if you're throwing Connor Jackson or Rocco Baldelli in there, I get it.
Yes.
But they were actually fatigued by diseases that they have.
Yes.
So Let me just throw that out to you guys. You guys can take it however you want. Maybe I'm taking it the wrong way.
The Manny Machado is lazy narrative strictly came from in playoff situations, him sort of showboating a long hit ball that turned into a single. And he also said it. I'm not really that big into hustling.
Right. He said it. Yeah. That's what it is.
Now, here's the difference, okay? It takes a little nuance. And truth be told, I don't want everyone to understand this, okay? I would like for just people who are really paying attention to understand it. Not hustling all the time is very different from not working very fucking hard at your craft.
Right.
Which Manny Machado clearly does. But not every player in Major League hustles all the time. Watch every good hitter. Almost none of them hustle all the time. In fact, maybe not all of them get caught like he did in a playoff game where he should have been on second when he only ended up on first. But a lot of them will do that in the regular season, and you'll see lots of shit where you're like, that guy's not hustling.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to err on the side of I'm fine with guys who need to use their legs to hit the ball out of the park all the fucking time, not running it out every damn time, right? And I know Ricky Renteria will bench you for it, but he won't bench Abreu for it, so get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
he knows if Manny Machado's on that team, he's not benching him. And every one of you motherfuckers that's out there going, he's a bad fielder, he's lazy, you know you're going to fucking cheer like crazy if he signs with the White Sox. But he's going to sign with the Yankees and, you know, whatever.
2 players, John Kruk and David Wells. I'm sure nobody ever accused of them of busting their ass really hard. So I'm just going to take the white guy perspective here and just say those 2 guys were never accused of being hard workers.
That's bullshit because I have literally heard... You look at John Kruk, you think he might be a big fat guy, but he is the hardest working guy. You hear that all the time when he's at the Phillies.
Listen, you're making shit up over there, and that's fine. But you show me a quoted article on the intranet, and then I will be okay.
Whoa! This is Trump's America. We don't need to quote anything. All right, I say it. It's true. Fuck out of here. All right.
You're gonna cut me. You took me out of the fucking Adam Engel thing, and then you're gonna fucking take me away. I didn't know you knew
who Adam Engel was.
The Manny Machado thing.
You participated in the Adam Engel thing. What the fuck?
Well, a little bit. But here's my problem. Manny Machado, great player, excellent player, very good player. He said the shit which got him in trouble. That's what got him in trouble.
That's true. I get it. I get that he said it.
And but he's not that guy.
But here's the thing. It went from I don't hustle all the time to this is the laziest player in Major League history. Cancer. And he's going to ruin your team if he goes.
He's going to kill your team.
Which I'm fine with if, that drops his price considerably.
Right, and that's what they're doing.
The Sox are going to get in there. Right. But it's not going to.
Well,
the teams read through that. It's a bunch of fan bases now going.
Exactly.
It's like when you were in high school and the hot girl wouldn't even give you the time of day.
Right.
And so now you're going to make up shit about her. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know about her? You know, blah, blah, blah.
You heard some things.
Yeah.
I heard some things.
Oh, man, I think she has herpes.
She had 6 abortions.
Yeah, exactly, right?
That's
what's going on with Machado right now.
Yeah.
And now, so let me...
devalue him.
Let me flip it to the other side of this, right? Everyone all of a sudden loves Bryce Harper and his work ethic and how great he is with teammates. If I'm just trying to rack my brain, which of these guys got in a fight with their teammate in the dugout? Now,
Bryce Harper.
Papelbon is a huge prick, right? I get that, but I don't remember him ever fighting with anyone on the Red Sox. He gets to the Nationals, there's fucking choke slams going on in the dugout.
Truth be told, Bryce Harper's had way more of these issues over the course of his career than Manny Machado has. There's just a recency bias right now. You just saw it in the playoffs. But Bryce Harper would always get in trouble for this type of stuff when he was with the Nationals. Now, mind you, he was a young major leaguer, so everyone's going to say, well, he was just a kid. But so was Manny Machado.
They're the same age.
They're the same age, exactly. Same age. So there's no washing away like, oh, those are sins of a kid right there. They were both kids, and they both done sort of the same thing. So I don't understand the one is the squeaky clean guy, and then the other guy, oh, he's lazy all of a sudden.
I don't think anybody's accusing Bryce Harper of being the squeaky clean guy, but I definitely. There's a documentary that's going on. I think it's on Showtime, and it's called "Just Shut Up and Dribble." And they were talking about how when LeBron made his statements, and then somebody said that to him, and they're like, hey, let's go back and look at the NBA and see what these people have done, right? So they had the Isaiah Thomas comment when he talked about, if Larry Bird was a black guy, they'd just say he was just some regular old guy, right?
Yeah.
And wouldn't be a superstar. He wouldn't be a superstar because of this. And and then they had a press conference, and I had never seen this press conference before, where Larry and Isaiah are sitting next to each other, right? Like 90s, straight 90s bullshit. This is beautiful, right? Yeah. And Isaiah, everyone was like, oh, he's such a nice guy, and that's such a nice guy. He was a cocksucker. Had a drink.
Yes.
But so he says, oh, what are you guys talking about? Oh, you're talking about some funny stuff, right? He goes, listen. He's like, every time you refer to a white player, you say, he's so hardworking. He's a guy that goes out there and just makes it, works hard to make it happen. Every time you talk about a black player, or in this case, Latino player, he's just naturally talented.
Natural athlete.
And it is. I mean, you see it, and I haven't seen it as. I mean, we're new to this. I'm new to this whole trying to talk about sports in front of millions of people, clearly on our podcast. But it's like I've never thought about it in these terms, and never oh my God, they're fucking right. There is a race factor definitely that's in play in this whole thing. When you're two free agents, one's brown and one's white, and a game that's played in America is America's pastime, but the best players are not your chalky white Americans. And I think
they are sometimes.
Sometimes
they are.
There's sometimes.
And let's admit, Bryce Harper is one of the best players.
He's a great player.
Fucking right. And guess what? He worked his fucking ass off to get where he is, just like Manny Machado. They both did.
Let me tell you one thing that I love about Bryce Harper. This is something that, going back when he was coming out of high school and this is shit you can't do in the NBA because the NBA has some bullshit rules.
Well, they're in bed with the colleges.
With the NCAA.
Yeah,
right.
So that's why they can't
the Major League told them,
but this is baller shit, though.
But Bryce Harper, he was a junior in high school.
Yes.
He was the best player on the planet, right? I mean,
at the age level.
Yeah.
But far and away.
He's going to be the number one pick. He's fucking great.
In basketball?
And no. In
baseball.
I was making sure.
No. Only Daniel Palka
he's
can do both, all right?
He's no Palka.
Yeah,
he's
that's
no Palka. So he's the best player in baseball at his age group. So he doesn't go to school his senior year. He trains. He trains to become a Major League Baseball player. You know why? Because if you want to become the best fucking mechanic that's going to be out there, you start being a mechanic when you're 13. Right?
You sure do.
Yep.
Bryce Harper said, why on earth, what in senior year of high school could possibly help me with the rest of my life where working out and becoming this monster that's going to just crush right through and get to the major leagues as soon as possible.
Right.
And he did. So he went and did that, and now we're seeing the fruits of it at this point in his career because at 26, he's a free agent. That's almost impossible for everybody else, right? Because of the time you spend in the minors, the time maybe if you go to college,
the time they cheat you on service time to make sure you stay down in the minors.
Exactly. All of those factors, and he worked around that shit.
Yep.
And at 26, he's gonna get fucking paid, and I love it.
He is gonna get paid,
and I also love
Agreed.
that
I love
all
it too.
of these guys are getting paid. Because the owners have so much fucking money. I don't when I hear they're gonna give him $300 million. Yeah, that's fucking nothing to these guys. So over 10 years, that is shit. That their TV contracts blow that shit out of the water. Don't give me attendance figures. Give me those fucking TV contracts. That money is insane.
I don't know how fuck. I'm in my head saying, "Don't say that." I don't know how B-Flow feels. I don't know how B-Flow feels about this, but I definitely think that is one thing that the 108ers all agree on universally is that the players are not overpaid, and in most cases probably don't get paid enough because you have your superstars, but there's a lot of guys that are fucking lawn jockeys. They're making next to nothing. They're just there and they're playing ball and they're doing whatever, and they're not really making a lot of money. So as a player, I think there needs to be players that the players need to get as much as they can because the money is there for them to get. and they should take that money. The owner's not out there. The owner's not risking his being able to walk in 5 years or whatever. So let's let the players get paid.
I actually heard a great argument about this on a different podcast. Chris Liss, who does the Real Man Wood podcast, talked about how current owners of sports teams are totally replaceable. Because they're not the guys that started these leagues. There's not the guys who hustled up and figured out how to make these leagues work and get them rolling and started with nothing and then created a league. They're all interchangeable right now. So they're almost useless. They almost have zero value because you could just take the next billionaire.
They bought it.
And slide them in there. Exactly. They just bought into it. They're not really of much value. That's why more money should go down to the players because they are of that value.
Yes.
They didn't find those, might not agree, but still.
They didn't find those teams in the wild.
That's right. They did not find those teams in the wild. They did not create these leagues. Now there are adaptations and there are adjustments that certain owners have done, but as a group, they've done minuscule compared to the original owners or the early owners of these leagues. So they're totally interchangeable.
So, does anybody here not love both Manny Machado and Bryce Harper?
Give me both.
I'll
take
either one.
We'll take either one, right?
Take either one.
Hold on, let me throw something out there though. If let's say we get one of them, my biggest fear of this is that that's all we do, right? And then we're right back where we started, where we've got Chris Sale, we got the best pitcher on the planet. Every 5 days we're gonna win, and they can't put a fucking team around him.
But Chris, God.
All right, Chris Sale.
I'm gonna cut all this. It's fine.
Holy shit!
I'm cutting from minute 30 all the way out.
That's good. Excellent. But what I would say is Chris Sale is a clubhouse cancer. that is the reason that we did not do anything when he was here.
Yeah.
He was just taking the team down. Yeah. He was the one that made Adam Dunn strike out all the time.
Here's the thing.
He was the one that was petitioning for Drake LaRoche to still be there.
Well, I was just going to say, they tried to bring in great people to lead on those teams like Drake. And then he just didn't do it. I mean, the fact that Adam LaRoche quit on us and took away the great leader, Drake LaRoche, is part of the problem. But honestly, they never put shit around Chris Sale.
It's true.
My concern is you get Manny Machado or you get Bryce Harper, and then you don't put anything around him.
You don't sort of reinforce it on the free agent side.
Well, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, see,
there's gonna be prospects here in 4 years, so it'll be fine.
So
there are more needs, that's for sure.
So do we need, or should the Sox go out and purchase that person? Grab a guy, big guy,
several persons.
So do you get the big guy, or do you get several littler guys?
Get both
to get right in.
Get all of it.
Yes.
You get all of it.
Let's just say you only have so much money to spend.
Let's say you have $100 million to spend this year. That's plenty.
That's true.
I mean, you
definitely can get a lot of people with $100 million a year.
The median team salary is what, like $140 million?
That's right.
What are we at? Like
60.
We're at like 50 something, but we have to fill in 2 pitchers. So you got to assume at a minimum we're going to be at 60.
I mean,
filling in low end pitchers.
Right, and then you got 80 to go.
You got 80 left.
Right. That's plenty.
Yeah,
plenty.
That is plenty to get a whole bunch of guys, and that is plenty to go. Fuck this division, KC's not going to spend that. Cleveland's proving that they're not going to spend that.
Cleveland wants to get out of some of their payroll.
Cleveland wants to get out of Bauer because he got accelerators because of being in the top of the Cy Young award.
Kluber, right?
Oh, Kluber, yeah, sorry. Not Bauer. Bauer's over cutting his fucking hands off.
I don't know who Bauer is, so everyone have a drink.
He's the guy that cut his hand on his drum.
Oh, yeah, I do know that guy.
He's a weird dude.
Do you know why? Because they made a bobblehead of him.
If I had to pick one before we move on, I would pick Machado over Harper only because I think that he is more likely to return his value sort of consistently each year.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with Harper, you're going to end up with some years that are a little bit down and then some terrifically fantastic years. And also, if they sign Harper, Pete Hand is going to be so fucking happy and do the touchdown dance all over us. So that's why I want Machado instead. I don't want him to celebrate too hard in front of us.
So another thing in the news lately has been the willingness to move Moncada to third base, right? And people's misconception that this is somehow opening up the door for Madrigal to come in and play second base.
Yeah. No, that's not it at all. And my personal take is all it's doing is telling the free agent market we're available for absolutely everybody. We're in on anything that could come over here. So if you got a great deal on a second baseman that was a free agent,
a LeMahieu, a Dozier, they're out there.
Jed Lowry, whoever.
If someone's cheap,
right,
and we have the ability to pick them up, we're going to.
That's right. Yeah, that's what they're trying to show right there. There's no immediate plans to do any of this stuff.
Now, so my first question on that is, you hand that to Ricky. Does Ricky have the skills to go, I've got, 3 second basemen. What do I do?
We don't know at this point. Most of the things with Ricky, I see a lot of complaints about Ricky, and I see the same tactical complaints everyone has. Like he's using 4 pitchers in an inning, he's bunting way too much, he intentional walks too much, all that shit. But we won't really know what Ricky can do until Ricky's given at least half a good team. And right now he hasn't been given that, and he hasn't been given a lot of spots where he can do a lot of tactical moves. Right? He did. I mean, things in Ricky's category. A lot of you hated the overuse of pitchers. Ricky realized to win a game, some of these guys could only get the same-handedness out. So he had to use a bunch of guys, okay? Ricky was smart enough to use Daniel Palka off the bench every chance he got when he wasn't starting against a left-handed pitcher. So Ricky has some of that in there. So I'm not anti-Ricky as far as all this stuff goes. He may be just fine when he's got a regular good team and understand how to move these guys in and out of the lineup. I just don't know yet.
Okay. I did want to talk about another piece of that, though, is the people that are like, well, they're doing this so that they can move Madrigal right into second base. And what I want to tell people who are saying this is Nick Madrigal has played 43 games in single A. He is so fucking far from being a major league player. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
So wanting Nick Madrigal, or like counting on him for your championship team right now is the same as if you have a son who's a senior in high school, he gets the lead in the school musical, and you go, well, fuck my 401k. I've got a famous actor here. I'm just gonna chalk it up. We're retiring. He's gonna pay all the bills for the rest of our lives. That is what you're counting on when after 40 games of a guy who has 0 home runs, 0 triples, and 7 doubles, that you're like, this is the second baseman that takes us all the way. Get the fuck out of the way, Yoan Moncada, top prospect a year ago. It's Nick Madrigal time. Like, this is so unbelievably insane that I can't believe people are writing it. Not even just saying it out loud.
Right.
Putting it to, they're typing it and going, I want this to live on the internet forever. I'm in disbelief.
Oh, there's so many people who are they have faith in Nick Madrigal camp, and Nick Madrigal's, well, he's the better defender there, right? You're right, he hasn't played above A-ball. Who the fuck knows? Maybe he is. It's possible he is. What if he can't hit a lick? What if he's an all-contact guy with no power and his on-base percentage is .315?
Well, here's the thing. He's a contact.
All right, drink.
He's a contact guy, right?
Contact guy, yes.
As he goes up through the levels, I don't know if everyone's going to believe this, but the fielders are going to get way fucking better.
Yes, they are. Pitchers, too.
When you get to Double A, there's going to be guys like Adam Engel there, all right? When you get to Triple A, there's going to be guys like other teams have in center field. And when you get to the pros, there's fucking Jackie Bradley Jr.'s out there catching every goddamn thing that you hit out there.
There's no question.
So to say that, like, this guy is some major league hitter after actually – everyone who said it probably hasn't seen him play one time.
Teresi, not to mention, you could be the contact guy you want to be, but if you get to the majors and you can't hit the ball out of the ballpark, they're going to make you hit 330. They're not going to walk you. You got a good eye.
Oh, no shit.
Who cares? They're going to throw strikes and make you hit 330.
Right, because why are they afraid of you?
They're not afraid of you. You can't hit the ball out of the ballpark. So there are risks. In
you got Yasiel Puig in the outfield who's going to throw anyone out to any base that they go to.
Lazily.
Lazily. So why do you care if this guy gets a single? Why do you care? Like imagine this player, and tell me if you want this guy on your team. Imagine Whit Merrifield from the Royals.
Drink, don't know who that is.
But not that fast and can't hit home runs. That's the guy you want to second. That's the guy that you want to displace Yoan Moncada with. That's the guy some people want to place Timmy Anderson with.
True.
And Madrigal has played one game at shortstop in the minors.
Yes.
I don't think they're grooming him to be Timmy Anderson's replacement.
I don't think so either.
So let me be the first to say, fuck Nick Madrigal. All right?
For causing the headache that's going on
in
here?
5 years, maybe I'm wrong, right? But until then,
Like
no
Matt
one's
Davidson.
going to remember that I'm wrong about that.
That's true.
Yeah, you guys hated Matt Davidson, and look at
know
what
what?
he's become.
He hasn't become much, all right?
The guy hit 37 home runs in Kansas City this year. I don't know what game you were watching, but that man hit 37 fucking home runs. Now, about 32 of them were called back, but that's all right. Hey, I'm gonna have a take on this before you guys totally push me out of this whole thing.
Get in now. Get in.
But you guys are forgetting that Sox fans really, really, really wanted Trace Thompson to play right field.
Yes,
Right?
they did.
Wasn't it right or left?
Hey,
It
there was
right or
that,
left.
Yeah.
there was that girl
I mean,
that flashed her titties at
Right.
him.
I mean, they
true.
loved that guy. And they said when we signed him, everyone was very, very hyped about him because he had a very unknown. We didn't know what he was going to do. We didn't know. It was a very unknown. And the Sox fans, from what I can tell and what I have noticed and observed, they like the unknown. So Nick Madrigal is the unknown.
It's not just Sox fans. Like, I mean, you think about the backup quarterback in the NFL,
Right.
right? Like,
Same
everyone
idea.
wants
Yep.
a backup quarterback.
But I also think your first-round draft picks in the NFL or the NBA are a hell of a lot different than your first-round draft picks in the MLB.
For
right?
sure. Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
For sure that.
it's just people don't really understand that. It's like your first-round draft pick in the NBA can come out and make an impact on your team right away.
Yep.
That does not happen when you have a team of baseball players, especially when your job could be to play right field, left field, whatever, but you're not pitching.
Yeah.
You don't control the game.
It's true.
You're not hitting every time.
Right.
To that point,
It's not your point.
I would be shocked to see Lou Bob in the pros before 2021.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
You would assume, and this is I'm just playing devil's advocate to a certain extent, that people think Madrigal's he's played 4 years of college, so he's definitely more ready than Lou Bob. But Lou Bob hits the shit out of a ball, and that kid is strapped. He is not country strong. He is not Daniel Palka country strong. Okay, he is a cut guy who takes awesome pictures on Instagram, mostly without a shirt.
That's the fallback plan,
Some
man.
with his pregnant
Instagram
girlfriend or wife, I don't know, but he does. He has a really good marketing eye. He knows what he's doing, and I love when he takes pictures with his friends that are obviously his friends that are just they're not pretty people. They're just regular people that he fucking loves and hangs out with. He's like, yes, I have $50 million. Whatever. Don't worry about it. Come hang out. Wear some Jinko jeans. It's sweet. The alcohol is definitely hitting as I am into beer 4. I did not stop and say
cooking.
how much I enjoyed this coffee, Eugene.
It's delicious.
It is great. It was not a cheap purchase. It was not a very expensive purchase, but it was not a cheap purchase. I think it was $14 for a 6-pack. I would definitely recommend it just to try it, especially if you like the Eugene Porter.
My Sox Summer's pining for a 108 raise right now, Teresa. That's what
So,
I'm
no.
Let me just
I
throw
put this on the family credit card. It's no big deal.
Let me just throw something out there right now, is that we're all on Beer 4. We've got plenty of topics left.
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
got a lot
Yeah.
of topics to go, and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm drunk, and I want to go bum a cigarette off somebody on the street.
I am a hard liquor household. So
That's
I
fine
think
with me.
what we're going to have to do next, if Cornsey is okay with this, is we're going to have to bust into one of these Smirnoff ornaments of vodka that we got and see what that's about.
Oh, that sounds
So
lovely.
let's
This sounds totally awful.
let's finish these up. Let's get ready for being very hungover tomorrow.
Sounds great.
And I'm going to move on to the next topic that I
do it.
had. And this is kind of related to Nick Madrigal.
Yes.
And why he's not going to be that valued in the major leagues is I've noticed something. It's an anomaly in the major leagues is that the utility infielder, well, valuable, I think is one of the most valuable positions.
Now,
Like, I
explain
think-
the utility infielder just briefly to the
so the
people
utility
who might not know.
infielder is a guy who can play all the infield positions with different proficiencies, right? So he's not a guy that you would start really at any of these positions every day, but he can play each of those positions. So he's valuable to a team because you only have this shallow bench. Like there's only like 3 hitters on the bench, 4 hitters on the bench. So you need these guys that can play all the positions, right? Like when we're good, Yolmer Sanchez is going to be a fantastic utility player for us. And
For sure.
so there's one hitting free agency this year, which is Marwin Gonzalez. And a lot of people are talking about him. And Marwin Gonzalez, the talk is that he's going to make a good amount of money. And I have a theory that tall utility players make exceptionally more than short utility players. And so I went to the internet. I did a little research. I said, let's find some of these shorter guys that maybe got paid well. So the shortest utility player that I could find who got paid well was Josh Harrison. Remember Josh Harrison?
Yeah, Pirates. Yeah.
So
remember that guy? How tall is he? About 5'9"?
he's 5'8".
5'8". Okay.
5'8". He peaked at $10 million, like $10.25 million a year. This is your tallest midget right here, guys. This guy made $10.25 million 1 year. Emilio Bonifacio, who is 5'10", he's still under the 6 foot range.
Yes.
His entire career, he played till he was like 32, 33, something like that. His entire career, he made $15 million about. Martin Prado, 6 foot, is going to make $15 million this year. Ben Zobrist, 6'3", he's 38.
Yes,
38 years old.
Yeah, 38.
This guy's my age, right? If
Yes.
you look at me,
Yeah.
you don't want to give me $10.
You're not going to make his money this year. I know that for sure.
He's making $12.5 million. But what's crazier is his 36 and 37-year-old years made a combined $33 million. And if you tell me that Ben Zobrist is better than Josh Harrison, I'll tell you go fuck yourself. They're immaterial to one another. And somehow the inches that he has over Josh Harrison makes him worth like $40 million more than him. It's insane. And so congratulations, Marwin Gonzalez, on being tall. You're going to make a shitload of money. And sorry, Nick Madrigal, you're never going to make anything in this league. Welcome to your Gordon Beckham salary.
This is the old CEO theory. CEOs have been paid or even picked, let alone to be in the position, almost strictly by height. There aren't a lot of sub 6 foot CEOs in the Fortune 500. And also, you in looking at your group there, I looked at a bunch of utility infielders through time. The lower bound, though, you found one shorter than what mostly I could find, like 5'8" for Josh Harrison. The lower bound's about 5'10". And so the spread between 5'10" and 6'3", which is Ben Zobrist, isn't a lot. And you'd assume the taller guys would have a little more leverage and a little more power. That makes sense for them to get paid a little more. The CEOs, not so much, but the utility players who can hit the ball out of the ballpark, I would think so.
Go fuck yourself.
Now, I feel like we're feeling some internal things over here from Teresi, as he is definitely the shortest person in the 108.
Easily the shortest, yeah.
He has the most what is it? A double bubble. He has a double bubble, but he is
A juicy double.
a juicy double. I'm juicy double. Juicy double. But he is definitely the shortest guy in the 108.
However, out of the 108ers, what we get paid for the podcast,
Yes.
we all get $0. So it's pretty even.
Absolutely even.
The point is moot.
So
It's a meritocracy. We're good.
so maybe we'll see how it goes moving on, you know? All right, so off that ridiculous topic,
We're chugging away here.
we are
we're
chugging away. I'm chugging away. I'm almost
Yeah,
done with
well,
this beer.
there's- yeah.
Well,
So-
the over 6% beers might not have been the best idea.
I think
but,
they're
I
a
think
great
they're great,
idea.
yeah.
Listen, I think that they're very delicious.
I could not pass up this Brickstone. It was
delicious.
It was $7 for a 6-pack, and that's a high hitter. It was either this or Ice House. So I went with this.
The coffee porter
30
is
of
very
Ice House
tasty.
would be a good show.
I-
Oh,
I'll be honest with you,
I was
could-
only going to get a 6.
Oh, 6 are tall boys, I hope.
I could drink.
It was
the coffee-
37 cents.
I could drink the coffee Eugene for breakfast. I'll be
Yes,
honest with you.
I
Go
mean,
right
yeah.
to
Pretty
work.
good.
And I'd be operating just fine.
Yeah,
There's no question.
but you'd probably smell like beer.
A little bit.
Nah, you smell like coffee.
Hey,
let's
go
get to
ahead.
the off-season plans that we did for Sox machine, Beefloaf, I want you to kick it off. And I'm not counting you out, My Sox Summer.
No, I didn't do one.
You didn't do one?
No.
But I want you to, once
Beefloaf
listen. Gets going, I want you to talk a little bit about our pitching needs.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So
let me Google now.
Just the broad strokes, because I've already discussed it on the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. But
That everyone's listens to.
what I chose to do here was to bring the White Sox up to respectability. So I went out there and I signed Patrick Corbin. I went out there and signed McCutcheon. I went out there and signed Josh Donaldson. I had to displace Adam Engel, and I went and signed Cameron Maben. I also made a series of trades, and it's hilarious. This plan went in there 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I traded Luis Robert to get Eugenio Suarez. And, of course, Luis Robert's done nothing but fucking hit since then. He came back off the DL and AFL, and he hit. And so, like,
in the Arizona Fall League.
I'm getting in Arizona Fall League.
So let me give you a little
I heard
perspective.
that guy was talking shit about me, the Beefloaf.
I was like, Houston Hira, the kid from that's going to go to the Brewers, of course, because they just get hitters. This guy has 30 RBIs in like 12 games in the Arizona Fall League. So let's not pretend to ourselves like the best pitchers are out there throwing fireballs to these guys.
Yeah, the pitching's horrible bad in there. I mean, it's just awful. So
Arizona is higher up than the rest of it's not quite Colorado.
No.
But it's a higher altitude. There's a lot of fucking home runs there. Look at Justin Upton's salary and you'll see why.
Is Justin Upton related to Kate Upton?
He's related to Bossman Jr. Upton, but not Kate Upton.
But they did do a little photo shoot together. The three of them.
Whoa.
I mean, I'm not that one. Not that kind of photo shoot. Back when they were together in Atlanta, they did the few pictures in the dugout. You might be able to find them on the internet.
Whoa.
I'm not sure.
Wait. Let me just ask a question.
Drop the bomb.
Is this Justin Upton and BJ Upton, or Justin Upton, BJ Upton, and Kate Upton?
Correct. All three.
Woo!
All three. It's not as hot as you might imagine.
I don't know.
That's a lot of Uptons.
Okay, so I made that trade. I also decided that I was going to trade Lucas Giolito for older Lucas Giolito.
Yes.
And get Dylan Bundy back. Which I caught a lot of shit for, but to be honest with you, the White Sox don't strike anyone out. Dylan Bundy does.
Dylan Bundy's better than Lucas Giolito.
Easily. It's not even close. And then I also this was also
ask TJ about that.
People got a little butthurt. I traded Jose Abreu and Yolmer Sanchez to get John Gray because we got to reinforce the pitching. One of the things I thought, in spending all the money to get an ace and then also try and reinforce the lower ends is the White Sox pitching just feels like it's so fucking far away. And when you get young guys come up, even guys who are fucking superstars, like if you go back and look at Kershaw, his numbers, Kershaw wasn't Kershaw for 500 innings. It took him 500 innings to get to where he was. Like, so almost everyone has this longer gestation period as far as the pitchers go versus the hitters.
Well, MSS, you were talking about the pitching.
We talk about pitching, and I honestly believe that, remember when we started this rebuild and everyone was like, oh, my fucking 2020, man. 2020, it's going down in 2020. And I just remember thinking, I don't know how that's going to happen. Because I don't see all of our prospects becoming straight superstars within the first 3 years of when we decided, hey, guess what? We're going to do a rebuild. Things are going to happen. Kopech getting hurt is probably going to set him back at least 2 years? I mean, looks like it. Yeah, he didn't come out and throw fire and was like straight awesome. The only game that he was awesome at, and the poor kid, right? He only got one out of his 3 games that he started that actually got to complete, and he played it against possibly the shittiest team in the AL Central. So I mean, it is not the fairest, whatever. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be totally fine. His sister's awesome. We like her a lot in the 108.
Hello,
but I just don't. Hey, he's going to take some time. He's now all of a sudden going to step in because he was traded for Chris Sale and become the Chris Sale that we think he should be. We're starting out 2019 with 3 starting pitchers. Right now, we have 3 starting pitchers. Lopez.
Kinda.
Well, come on. You gotta be nice to these guys. This is your future.
Why do I gotta be nice to these
Well,
guys?
you should be nice to them.
It's 2.5.
Lopez made gains. Giolito
I like Lopez
Giolito
quite a
made
bit.
gains in about 6 of the weeks. That's what he did. 3 at the beginning and 3 at the end. And people remember those 3 at the end though because they're like, hey, he's a pretty solid pitcher. Well, they don't remember that whole middle of the year where he totally was not that good. And then so we got Giolito, Lopez, and
Rodon.
And Rodon should be our ace, but he probably won't be our ace.
I mean, he's our ace if he's healthy.
What do you think he is best on a good team? What do you think he is?
He's a 2 or a 3 on a
2 or
good team.
3? See, I think a 2 is a little high. I want to say 3, 4.
I don't know. He's got some really good stuff. It's the question for me
He's got to stay healthy.
is can he stay healthy?
Yep.
But if he does stay healthy, can he last a full season? Right? Is it
Right.
going to go to shit at the end like it's gone to shit at the end the past couple of years?
Yeah, last year was brutal.
Yeah.
It was tough to watch.
Yeah, it wasn't good. His wife, pretty awesome. I saw on
She was
Instagram
awesome,
she bagged a buck. You know,
hello.
And they were holding it up, and it was all gutted and shit, and that was pretty awesome.
Bagged a buck, not tucked a buck.
Yeah, bagged.
Different.
That's different.
Different scenario.
vernacular. Right.
Different
Definitely,
I get it. I'm
bagging is definitely
I got
tucking.
it. I got it.
But I think as everyone is like, hey, let's go right after all these Bryce Harpers and these Manny Machadas. You need to sign some pitching because the pitching is what is the most important part to the game.
I totally
We can
agree.
hit 15 home runs a game, but if we give up 16, we're still losing.
The Brewers disagree.
My dad said that. My dad told me that. He's not a liar. Okay, he calls it Manny Machado. He calls it Jan Machado. So
I believe it. I believe
he knows
both of
what
those.
he's talking about, folks. Listen to my father. He knows what he's talking about.
I mean, even mentioning Giolito had the worst starting pitching season of anybody last year.
Sophomore slump.
He was horrible.
Hey, let me throw this out there.
He might not be a major leaguer.
In my Sox machine plan, I
thought you were giving me a new name there for a minute. I was like, why am I my Sox machine? What the fuck does that mean?
My Sox machine sausage summer. In my Sox machine plan, I went with a 6-man rotation. And Lucas Giolito was not in that rotation. I got enough pitchers that we had 6 guys to start,
What do we
and he
do?
wasn't one of them.
What are we
He
going to
wasn't
do
one
with
of them.
Bigfoot?
I mean,
They call him Bigfoot. What are we going to do with him?
if you can trade him,
No one's
I
picking
would
him
trade
up.
him today. I would trade him today.
He's got to have a team-friendly contract. He's on the White
Oh
Sox.
yeah, I mean he's still on his rookie deal,
Yeah.
so like he's under team control. He's a
making
guy.
like-
He's a guy you could trade. He doesn't have any options still. You can't. I don't think
Okay.
you could send him down. Or he might have one option left. They might have got to the end of the season keeping his option, so you might be able to start him in the minors this year.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case.
Our good friend White Sox Dave does not like him. He
Yeah,
says because
I mean-
he says he's not a bulldog.
Yeah, well, he says he's not mentally.
not a
I mean,
fighter.
like he says it like that, but what he's saying is he's not mentally tough,
Yeah.
right? Like he's a less talented Kevin Durant, right?
Well,
The
he's
kind of guy that if you call a bitch too many times, they have to suspend the other guy on your team.
He's a Cali kid, and I think that there's something to be said. Like when you live in the land, I wanted to say milk and honey, but I don't think that's what it is. When you live out there and there's beautiful women, the weather's nice. I mean, right now I know that like everything's burning down. Rest in peace, Neil Young's house and Fred Durst's house. It is
Just Neil Young's house.
Huh? No, Fred Durst. Fred Durst's house burned down too.
Oh yeah, I just didn't care.
Oh, dude. Think about all those gold records that burned, especially the Hot Dog Water and Starfish or whatever the fuck that album was. So it's a great one. So anyway, and all
Obviously
the
a great
sweatshirts
record.
and red Yankees hats that got destroyed in that fire. But I just think that there is definitely, as a guy that lived in Cali for 7 years, there's definitely not that tenacity with a lot of people. It's more chill because, well, now there's weed everywhere. Well, there's weed there
That's
too
good.
before.
That's good, just in general.
But but he is a Cali guy,
Yeah.
and he's very chill and he's very relaxed, and he's
I'm-
like, hey, I do this thing because I'm really tall and
I'm
talented.
fine if he's chilled and laid back and relaxed.
Just
and
be
strikes
good.
out 15 guys in the game. Like but that's not what it is.
How about being good and not being bad?
He's chilled and relaxed, and he throws meatballs that get hit out of the park. And that's not my thing.
And he walks everyone, and
maybe he bounces back like James Shields. Who knows?
Who knows?
All right. Speaking of predictions of this year, Beefalo, if you wanted to talk about the Steamers projection,
I do. So
and we were like, me and My Sock Summer are like, we're going to talk Cleveland Steamers.
We're going to Cleveland. Right.
No,
This is gonna get filthy.
It's a little dirty.
Let's get into this. Let's
Earmuffs,
see what's going
kids.
on. And then you brought us the printouts, and I'm just like, oh, this is not what I was thinking it was. But nevertheless, we're going to give you the
Still
floor.
talk about it?
We're going to
We'll
give you the
still wanna talk about
floor.
it?
You tell us about it.
Everyone break out your notes.
okay, yes, everyone's got the mine's only.
Yeah,
mine is
so
only mine is highlighted. So I have the notes, but
the important thing is I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to start getting out some of the other drinks that we're going to have.
I
Because
think
we're
we
almost
still
done.
have
Appreciate that.
an IPA, right? Or an APA?
I
think we do.
I don't know
No.
if you know how to count, but go ahead and look for it.
No, I don't see 6.
Did you get a fucking 8-pack?
it looks like 6 to me.
There is 6. I lied.
6 is good. What's wrong with 6?
All right, drink up because I can't count.
Okay, so Steamer. In short, the Steamer projection, the Steamer projections are the first projections that come out each year that are widely available, so you can get them on Fangraphs.com. So they give you a quick peek into your team, all the teams actually, so you can look around at everybody. Quick notes on the White Sox. Eloy Jimenez is projected to be the White Sox best player by F-WAR, which is Fangraphs WAR. And he's really only expected to play 3 quarters of the season. It looks like he's expected to miss the first quarter of the year based on plate appearances.
Jeez.
So that's really encouraging for a team that thinks they're going to start competing when their hotshot prospect comes up and he's easily the best player on the team. A couple other notes, highlights from this team. They're expecting almost no improvement from Yohan Moncada. Last year, 2.0 F4. This year, 2.2. They're expecting Omar Narvaez to get significantly worse when it comes to on-base percentage. Omar's career on-base percentage is .366, and that's over 2 separate seasons. And the Steamer projection has him at .332. So he's going to get far worse year over year. The most upsetting one on the hitters for all of us is the fact that they're predicting Daniel Palka to only have 20 fucking home runs.
And we talked about this before the pod even started. and my wife told me not to call it a pod. The podcast started. I'm sorry. Before we started the podcast. Before we started the podcast, me and Beefloaf were engaged in a very great conversation. And it entailed that Daniel Palka is going to have less at-bats this year than he did last year. So that means to me, which my mother taught me when I was a child, don't fucking try too hard, okay? Know your fucking plays and just stay there, okay? Oh, you got an A? Oh, A minus? Why wasn't it an A plus? Oh, no. So Daniel Palka killed the fucking ball last year. He did a good job. He was a hired hand to hit the ball. Why would we not give him more at-bats? According to the Steamheads.
Totally agree. And the funny thing about the Steamer projections are they're not adding anyone theoretical that you're signing. It's your same old bullshit team you had last year. So literally, there's no one new here to take at-bats away from Daniel Palka. Is there really someone that should steal away 50-plus at-bats that he had more last year, or 50-plus plate appearances he had last year? No fucking way. And I know everyone out there, all the people that think they're smart are saying, yeah, but he'll be a platoon. Believe you me, he's going to get more than 400 plate appearances.
He better.
No matter who they sign here. Unless he comes out as a fucking train wreck and does not play well at all. If he looks anything like Daniel Palka last year, he's a shoo-in to get 450 plate appearances. So moving on to the pitchers. This is fucking gory. So we just talked about how terrible the pitching is. The White Sox are estimated to have one pitcher with above 1 F-WAR, and that would be Carlos Rodon with 1.5.
Beef, what's an F-WAR?
What's an F-WAR? So an F-WAR is Fangraphs' calculation of WAR.
Doesn't Fangraphs sell, like, jerseys and shit?
They do, and they also sell memberships to their site, of which I don't have one. I'm embarrassed. I should have one. But
It was a joke. I meant Fanatics.
Anywho, 1.5 WAR is not good.
No.
Usually, an average Major League pitcher would get you about 2 F-WAR. In fact, I took a sneak peek at the Cubs squad, and they don't have a starting pitcher below 2.0 F/WAR for the season. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in their starting pitcher group are all at least half a win better than Carlos Rodon. But it gets better. There's no one in the White Sox rotation or bullpen estimated to even provide one WAR other than Carlos Rodon. Even Ronaldo Lopez.
How much do people have to drink right now?
A million times. Even Ronaldo Lopez, who was at 2.0 F/WAR last year, is expected to be less than one win this year, 0.9.
So let me ask you a question. There's an interesting thing here. Is one of the top WAR guys on the team is Jose Abreu, who's not going to be on the team next year.
Not going to be on the team this year or next year?
This year. This year's coming up.
I mean, if I were
still 2018, so next year is.
If I were Manning, I mean, I think it's very likely that he's not. I think it's very likely that it ends up traded somewhere.
So we're fucked.
Yeah, so
Let's
I mean,
pack it up. Hey, let's shut off the mics. Let's go home.
Unless they're going to spend a bunch of money, this is going to be a really bad team.
Well, and even to not talk about Abreu in that light, Avi Garcia is like 6th on this list, and he is definitely not going to be on the team. He's definitely not going to be on the team. They're looking to trade him.
Actively looking to trade him.
And if they can't trade him, they're probably going to non-tender him. And let me ask you about Avi Garcia real quick, because we talked about it earlier. People fucking love Avi Garcia.
They do.
Avi Garcia's trade market, to me, seems non-existent, right? Because here's the problem. You have to be a team that's going to offer something worse than what the Detroit Tigers would take for Nick Castellanos, but also not willing to go pick up an Adam Jones or a Melky Cabrera off the scrap heap. So you're going somewhere in the range of, I want to send this crap to the White Sox and take on the $8 million of Avi. I feel like there's out of all the teams in the major leagues, there's -4 teams that would do that.
I don't disagree. And actually, the Castellanos comp is not perfect because he's a better hitter, but he's a way worse defender at every position. So, Avi can give you at least enough right field where you can actually trot him out there. A real team does not want to play Nick Castellanos at any position because it's just too costly. So it's not a perfect comp, but yet it's close enough. Yeah, I mean,
if you're in the
market, that market,
for
that's what
not
you're looking at, right?
Really good right fielder that can hit.
What you need is a team that's got a left-handed hitting corner outfielder that the splits against lefties are horrible, and you're literally just buying a guy to play against lefties.
Have a drink.
So they need a player that really who's a good example? Is that like a Josh Reddick or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the first one I would have thought of.
Platooning with Reddick?
Yeah, platooning with Josh
That sounds awful.
So when did Josh Reddick start playing baseball? That's all I have to say.
It's a good 3-point shooter for Duke.
Yes.
And then he had to move on, though.
And he played for Orlando, right?
Yeah. Yes, he did play for Orlando.
Now he's playing baseball.
Decent defender.
Good for that kid. You know what I mean? Good for that guy.
Respect.
He didn't stop. He said, you know what? I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna go Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson style, and I'm gonna go to another sport.
We derailed you though. I feel like you got some more steaming you want to give us.
No,
there's not much more actually.
We have some.
MSS got some.
I
steaming.
did notice the pitching. I went to pitching, and Mr. Jace, don't call me Avi Fry, is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th best pitcher next year.
Yeah, it looks like he's our number 2 reliever behind Nate Jones.
Oh God, I just. Okay, last year we talked about this in the first Sunday Soak of 2018, I think. I was really confused after Sox Fest because everyone was like, "Oh, this team's gonna be fucking good." The 2018 White Sox, and I was like, what am I missing here? What am I not seeing? And because I would say, who's our 5th starter? Who's our 4th starter? And it's the same thing going in right now, because things could totally fucking change. Yeah. I don't know who's going to pitch for us next year. And I know I talked about this a little bit earlier, but it's like that's a really big fucking deal. Like,
yes, it is.
You can't have a really, as we said the other night, We've been on a bender. Monday was a non-drinking night for us, kind of.
Yeah.
But we had a Friday night sesh over at Motor Row Brewing. We had a Saturday sesh at the church playing a little
trivia.
I was
actually at a dinner party.
We got a little November 30th trivia at State. I'll post about
we can
it.
talk to that.
You guys got to get out to that. That's going to be something special.
And then we just tore the shit up over at Scout for the Bears game on Sunday.
We did.
So we've been drinking a lot, and I forgot my point. But anyway, it was just, I just don't understand what people are undervaluing bad pitching and thinking, people are just going to be fine.
It'll be fine. They'll just come up and be good.
Okay, it's going to be fine. We have a lot of really good prospects. A guy posted on Twitter just not too long ago. He said the worst thing that's going to happen is when all the prospects all come up and we still fucking suck, and then they're going to be like, "This was totally wasted. We wasted all these years." But yeah, no, we don't have any pitching for next year.
So the final two notes is right on the tip of what my Sox Summer is saying. So without adding any new players, Steamer's got to figure out who's going to fill in the rest of these fucking starts, okay? They're a little bullish on Carlos Rodon. They give him 29 starts. He's never done 29 starts in his career.
That's
He's gotten to 28 once, okay? Lopez at 29, that makes sense. He made 32 last year.
Lopez has a rubber arm. I'm
he
feeling
does,
good about it.
and Giolito's durable too, so he'll make his starts even though they might be terrible.
I think I went to high school with Dane Dunning.
They've got Dylan Covey making 24 starts and being worth 0.7 WAR. They also have Dane Dunning and Dylan Cease basically splitting the remaining starts.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Dane Dunning's elbow still hurts, from all I know. But they have him coming up, making 13 starts and being worth also 0.7 WAR. And then Dylan Cease making 10 starts and being 0.4 WAR. So all of you that thought Dylan Cease was an ace, this projection model is lining him up to be sort of a middle of the rotation innings eater.
But here's the thing. Even let's say they're bad.
Yeah,
right?
That's a safe bet without adding someone.
They're not bringing Dylan Cease up, right?
I wouldn't. No.
Let's say they're good. Dylan Cease shouldn't start a game. Dylan Cease is a reliever on that team if you bring him up.
Right.
He's
helping
when
at the end of the year.
You're going we're trying to make this huge push, and we need a bullpen arm. You bring up Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
You don't. If you're questioning a starter and trying to make a push, that is a horrible position to be in. You should not be in that position unless you're the Milwaukee Brewers, and you have the hitting that is just so incredible.
Right. So
that
you're like
okay, we'll bring up some pitchers. It'll be fine.
Right.
That's not what I see out of this team. I don't see where they just have so many fucking home runs they can't deal with it, and let's get whoever up to pitch, right?
Agreed.
Because if that's the case, you're still going to the scrap heap. You're pulling in Bartolo Colon before you're throwing Dylan Cease out there,
right? Before you're starting service time or whatever else,
right? I mean, you're spending a lot of money to put Dylan Cease in the rotation or anywhere in your pitching this year.
Right.
So they're not going to do that unless it's absolutely imperative that they do. So the fact that they have him pitching any innings just seems insane.
Yeah, I mean, these things aren't perfect. These projection models, especially early like this, where they're not adding any players, they just have to fill in those starts with somebody, right? So who's the next most likely person? Do you put Spencer Adams in there for starts? Or maybe you do.
I think I do.
I think that's probably more likely, but they're not as in tune with these teams as we are. Mm-hmm. They got to cover all 30 teams.
For sure. They see a guy who's coming up in the system. They're going to use that guy, not necessarily thinking someone's going to hold that guy back because his value's bigger in future years.
Absolutely.
All right, so we got through our Cleveland Steamers. Let's get on to a couple topics that I think me and Beefloaf want to have a little bit of fun with. First up is not every single bad move that you hear about or every single veteran that gets signed is a Kenny Williams move. We can't just every time someone over the age of 28 gets signed by the Sox, it's not a guy that Kenny's had his eye on for so long. And I think my problem with that is that it's become a thing where every bad move in the eyes of the fandom is a Kenny move. And every good move is a Han move. And so we've gotten to this point where Rick Hahn can do no wrong. right? And Rick Hahn does plenty of wrong. Rick Hahn is the guy that had Chris Sale and shit the bed with Chris Sale, right?
Popped it all up.
So I'm not
just like Clark Griswold for Christmas Vacation.
I'm not going fuck Rick Hahn. You know, I'm not in that boat. I
love that guy. He's a nice guy.
I'm in the boat of, you know, Rick Hahn being my girlfriend, and now I don't so much trust Rick Hahn. So
exactly,
he's got to prove himself to me that he can actually do this kind of build, and so I'm not buying every move that he makes. And I don't buy people that are saying, "Oh, that move was a Kenny Williams move because it sucked." Here's some Kenny Williams moves for you. Jose Abreu is a Kenny Williams move, and Luis Robert is a Kenny Williams move.
Yeah.
All right, and you people seem to fucking love those, so I do too. Don't get me wrong. I'm with you on the love of those, but let's give Kenny a little bit of credit there. And here's some.
Yeah, I was gonna say more Kenny Williams moves. AJ Przinsky.
Yeah, here's
Jim Thome.
Here's some Rick Hahn stuff.
Freddie Garcia.
Adam Dunn. Adam LaRoche.
Adam LaRoche. Oh, that was a Nick. That was
Jeff Keppinger was also Rick Hahn.
That was a Rick Hahn move.
Yeah.
Re-signing Gordon Beckham. These are Rick Hahn moves. Now,
Gordon Beckham.
Here's the thing.
Marvelous hair.
A lot of good moves out of Rick Hahn. I like a lot of the stuff he's done during the teardown. But he's never presented us with the I can build it up. So we should, as fans, question that he's building it properly. Correct. All right? Don't just go, oh, he got a lot of stuff for Chris Sale. Who the fuck couldn't?
It's a skillless job right there.
I could have got a lot for Chris Sale.
Everyone could, yeah.
Did you see Chris Sale in the playoffs? Very skinny, but played very well, right? So, like, and people who shit on Chris Sale, just go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
Right? So
right in the butt.
So he was able to trade a bunch of good players for a bunch of good prospects. I love that. I feel like we have a really good farm system. I'm psyched about a lot of the guys that we got in those trades. Lucas Giolito is probably the only guy that I'm not like psyched about. Like I'm still a fan of Yoel Moncada. I still think these
get him, my Sox Summer, get him.
But let's stop demonizing Kenny Williams and praising Rick Hahn, and let's get on to what are we going to do next.
Who did he trade to get Lucas Giolito though?
Adam Eaton.
That was Adam Eaton.
Teacup Adam Eaton. The guy gets hurt. What?
Let's
3 games into the 2017 season.
Not to mention Lopez and Dunning came over in that trade too.
I'm just saying.
And Lopez has been good.
I think
fantastic trade.
I think Rick Hahn's biggest coup was getting rid of Q and getting Eloy. I think obviously according to this Cleveland Steamer projection, we have the best player that we traded for a pitcher who I loved. I thought he was a great guy, but apparently can't cut it over there.
Yeah, he hasn't done well.
I don't understand what's the problem because I get text messages from my Cub fan friends like, "Where's this Eloy guy? Why is he not up? Why is he not up? Why do we still got this shitty Q that's still pitching every 5 days?" I don't know. It's not my job.
It is now.
The Kenny Williams move thing, people have to be able to separate the comical shit like the Manny Ramirez situation or the trade for Griffey. And
who didn't love either one of those moves,
they're sort of like really old to just a normal free agent is like 30 to 33. They all are. So when you say, oh, and signing Andrew McCutchen sounds like a Kenny Williams move, no, it just sounds like signing a free agent move. Not every free agent is Harper and Machado where they're in their mid-20s. The majority of these guys didn't come up till they're in their maybe mid-20s, and then they played 6 or 7 years because they were controlled by their organization, and then when they become free agents, they're 31, 32, 33 years old. That's how everyone is. You're not paying Andrew McCutchen to be the MVP anymore. You're not paying Josh Donaldson to be the MVP anymore. You're paying a lesser price. This is how free agency works.
Let me throw this out there, though, because you mentioned the Manny Ramirez thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Which we loved at the time, by the way.
Not
everyone
loved
good.
it.
Not because he was good, though. Just because it was fun.
What they finally came down to for the Manny Ramirez trade, which was pretty nothing, was like $1 million or something.
Yeah.
I think everyone forgets the initial Kenny Williams' proposal for that trade to the Dodgers, which was the most balls I've ever seen out of a GM that I've ever followed, was he went with the Clarence Worley from True Romance and handed the empty envelope across the table and said, I will give you nothing. You give us Manny Ramirez. You pay it. He just comes over here. And that was the start of the negotiation. I will take him for nothing. Who the fuck says that? You got to give the guy a little bit of credit there.
There's
all right?
no question. There's no question.
And especially because he started with that and got the guy.
Yes. Right, no one walks away.
His opening argument was, I'll give you nothing. And they said, I think we could barter here. I think we could negotiate.
He expects you to pay for the gaming license out of your own pocket. That's the deal he was going for.
Right. And so, I kind of love that. And I think another one that I think is on Kenny that people, are always like, oh, he got Andrew Jones at the end of his career. No. He got Andrew Jones towards the end of his career. He played well for the White Sox.
Sure did, yes.
And then he went and played well for the Yankees.
Yes.
Right? So it's not, he didn't get him at the end of the career. He got a good player for almost nothing. You need to do that. You need to get those guys.
Han's going to have to do that.
And before Ricky, or before Kenny, people shit on the Jose Canseco deal, and I just take personal offense to that because I love Jose Canseco. But on to the next topic, which is related. And Beeflo, if you're very psyched about this, and I'll just ask the question, and you can explain the question and the answer.
I shall.
Can Rick Hahn kill Mo Green?
Hold on. Before we get to that, I want to do a live read on the commercial. And I fucking just lost it. Are you a single lady who needs to move? Need help getting your shit packed? Call Dan at Dutch Movers. 25 years experience packing your shit. Give Dan a call at 708-331-2990. And the 108 reminds you, if you ain't Dutch, it ain't much.
It's literally the best part of our podcast.
That is the most professional My Suck Summer is about any of us.
I only fucked up one word that time.
Now slam your vodka.
No, I'm taking it easy on the vodka because I don't want to black out.
So is Rick Hahn capable of killing Mo Green?
Yes.
Okay, so for the uninitiated, in The Godfather, Michael Corleone, the son of the original Godfather, had to take over the business, and he was forced to make a really tough decision, and that was to whack out a bunch of guys, some who were after him trying to kill him, some who he wanted to get in on business arrangements with, Mo Green being that person. And so my thought is Rick Hahn capable of making the tough moves that a good organization has to make? You got to kill Bambi. You got to shoot Old Yeller, okay, in order to win. And I'm starting to think he is. Okay, we were talking about this when we were out at Motor Row. We were talking about some of the things that he's done previously, including sort of cutting John Danks.
Yeah.
When he didn't have to, they owed him money and everything. They were allowing him to do that sort of thing. And now with the talk with Avi Garcia, a smart team, a good team, would move on from Avi Garcia in the current situation. They would improve that spot, right? Try to get better, then improve that spot. And it looks like they're going to do that. So it looks like Rick Hahn maybe would be willing to kill Mo Green. He would be willing to do some of the difficult things that it would take to get this team to become a winner. I'm not 100% convinced yet, but it's starting to look like maybe.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him, cut bait with Javi, save that $8 million, go get a few guys, go get some guys on short contracts too, right? You see what the market bears, and if there's let's say if there's an Adam Jones just floating out there, no one wants to get him a contract, and you give him a 2-year, $24 million contract, right? He sucks the first year. Just cut him, right? That's the guy I want to see. That's the GM I want to see.
Ruthless.
Who's like, you know what? I got a guy in the minors that I like better than you, and you haven't done shit for me. Get out of here, right? That's the kind of guy that I want to see. And for those who are listening to this going like, that's wasting $12 million. Not your $12 million. Don't worry about it.
What do you fucking care?
Don't worry about it. Jerry's got plenty to spend. It's going to be fine. He's
There's
got,
no question.
you know, as long as we're under 200 million, everyone's going to be okay. So you spend that kind of money on these guys on contracts that make sense. And if they don't play up to it and there's a guy that's pushing them out, that guy pushes them out.
That's right.
That's
you either
just how
cut
it
him or you
goes.
move him to the bench or whatever.
You know, it's evolution. You know,
It's evolution, baby.
It sure is. Sure the fuck is.
That's a little.
You do good or you get the
Pearl
fuck
Jam
out
there for you.
right? So that's what I see.
Teresa, I'm totally with you. I want the White Sox to start operating like a good team. You start building up talent here, and you sign free agents, and guess what? If in a year from now, Luis Roberts fucking ready, and he's the best prospect in baseball, and you have someone like Adam Jones in center field, Adam Jones is either on the bench or he's out on his ass.
Look at the
And
Yankees.
you bring this guy up.
Look at the Yankees. Jacoby Ellsbury is sitting his fucking ass on the bench, making $20 million a year, and there's not a Yankees fan that's upset about it.
That's correct.
Because that team is kicking ass, and that team is young, and that team is ready to sign more prospect or more free agents because they've got so many prospects, right? That's what you want to become. And sometimes it takes, hey, I've got these 4 or 5 guys that are on the bench making $80 million total, but the guys on the field are fucking better, and that's what I'm going with.
Well, this is a great call, too, with the Yankees, especially because they had Clint Frazier, but you know what they did? They traded for Aaron Hicks. Well, they didn't really need Aaron Hicks, right? They could have left the spot open. Like a lot of White Sox fans want to leave spots open. Fuck that shit. They brought in Aaron Hicks. He's worth 4 wins. He's fucking terrific for the Yankees. So guess what? You keep that guy in the minors, or you trade that guy. You can never have too many good players. And the White Sox need to start stacking
Meanwhile,
now.
Clint Frazier is out there like Al Toon, man. He can't even be in the light of day.
That's true.
You know? So
yeah.
like
he had some bad
that's-
luck after that, right?
That's a good move.
Right.
You know, you're keeping like, and as soon as Clint Frazier's ready, you know what they're gonna say to Aaron Hicks? Sit your fucking ass down.
That's right.
There's a better guy.
Or they're going to trade him to another team or whatever. They'll
Which is
figure it out
fine.
then.
Which
But you
is fine.
figure it out once
You're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, you don't wait
gotta
on
figure
all
it
these
out.
guys. You don't wait on like everyone with the magical thing. You don't just wait on them.
Right.
Put good players in place, and if that other good player comes up and pushes them out of the way, so be it.
Don't anoint this guy.
Right.
You know, find the best player for this year. Do it. Have a good team. Win, you know, more than 62 games. That's not a big ask, I don't think. But apparently it is. So we are into our extra drinks.
We're in coaching.
We
OT.
are banging through some vodka right now. It's
Beautiful.
very delicious.
It is very delicious.
It is good.
We're gonna get into the OT segment, and this is my Sox Summer segment. So I will let you take it away, my friend.
I thought, hey, we're going to talk a lot about baseball, and that necessarily is not my strongest point when we talk about stuff. Fan experience is definitely my number one. Things that go on at the ballpark is definitely, I'm high up on that. And I thought, hey, let's have some questions that are not necessarily baseball driven so I can actually talk in this podcast. And one of the things that I said, hey, I was just taking a shower one day, and don't think about that too much, Beef Loaf. And I was thinking, what question?
Hello.
Could
I sneaking your hand?
Something moved.
What question could I ask the guys that would probably elicit a really good response and a really good story? And I said, hey, this is my question. So I'm going to go with it right now. I'll ask you both this. I will answer final or the last. What job or career move did you almost take that would have changed your life? And I also want to add in jobs that you did not get that you might have got, like you might have wanted and gotten. So you don't have to limit it to just, hey, everyone's throwing jobs at you like you're an awesome person. It could be something else.
I'm happy to go first. I
Beef
thought
Loaf
about
with the
this.
number one.
I thought about this for like 10 minutes, and then it became so obvious. Like, how can I not go with this one? So, when I was coming out of college in 2000, okay, my son's summer.
There's some bubbles in that ginger ale. Got right on my throat. Give me a tickle.
Whoa.
Sweaty balls.
That's how I feel when I'm in front of the
Yes.
microphone. I'm not.
So
like
you
you guys have both
yes.
done in bands. I've not. So when I'm in front of the microphone, I feel like the sweaty balls scene.
You guys,
in SNL.
you guys can't see this right now, but Justin and BJ Upton just came up behind my Sox Summer for a photo shoot.
Where the fuck is Kate? That's all we're asking.
So it was easy for me. So
you thought about it for 10 minutes.
I thought about it for 10 minutes, and I realized this is like the easiest fucking thing ever. So I'm 22 years old, just out of college. I've got 2 offers in hand. One is from a small regional firm here in Chicago, an accounting firm. I'm an accountant, still am. I've been for 18 years. And another one is from a national power, Arthur Andersen. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, the smart money usually is like, well, you take the known brand, the thing you go to, whatever. And for some reason, I just felt that going to the smaller firm would be better for me. And so within a year of being there, I made a friend at that firm who was my same entry class. Her name's Jennifer. And she was literally the person who made the biggest impact on my post-20s life. She introduced me to my wife. That was her best friend. And she was the first person professionally who, like, you're the same level as someone, but then they kicked your ass so fucking bad that you realize you got to get so much better at what you're doing. And so, like, she was able to not only, like, get my personal life set up for me, unbeknownst to her, but also get my professional life set up for me. And had I taken the Arthur Andersen thing, well, a few years later, Arthur Andersen ends up in the shitter because of Enron and waste management.
Enron, right?
And it ends up bankrupt, right? It ends up not existing. So I really had quite a choice at 22, and by some miracle, I made the right choice by a country mile.
Nice. That's a great answer.
So mine's a little stranger because it's, as you guys know, probably most people listening to this do not know. In my early 20s, I worked in the music business.
Yes.
I was the label manager for Invisible Records, and I would go out on tours.
Who's some notable bands from Invisible Records?
So you've got your Chem Lab, your Pig Face.
Big
so
Face.
If you listen to, if you've ever heard 9 Inch Nails Suck,
I was like, who
that
is in
is
Pig
actually a Pig Face track.
Okay.
And written by Trent Reznor.
Yeah. Trent was in Pig Face.
Trent was in Pig Face. Yeah. Ogre from Skinny Puppy was in Pig Face. Danny Carey from Tool. Flea from Chili Peppers. Like, the list goes on. There's hundreds and hundreds of members.
It's a hell of an alumni band.
It was a very cool time to work there too, because it was when they were doing Underground Inc. So it was a collaborative of a bunch of Chicago labels. So like Frankie from Thrill Kill Cult had his label on there. Jason from Crack Nation, which is DJ AccuCrack, and Acumen Nation, and a few other bands that he did, which were really awesome. Like, all that stuff was kind of there. Bile from New York, that was
Bile.
They're. I mean, like, if you remember the industrial metal,
I remember
of the
Bile.
'90s. These,
I remember
these
Snot. I remember Bile.
These guys are awesome. Like, so. It was a really cool job. It was one of those things where you got paid nothing, but, like, the experience is fantastic, right? And I'm still close with Martin Atkins from Pig Face and from Invisible Records, the owner of Invisible Records. And so we worked together for years, and then it was kind of a situation where it was like, man, we're just 2 dudes in an office right now. We're gonna kill each other if we keep working together. So
right.
So I left that job. And I took some time, visited some family, got around, and I took a part-time job with a tech firm in the West Loop. And all that I was doing was biding time, because one of the bands that I toured with kind of on the regular was a band called Dope. You might remember they did like the new metal cover of Spin Me Right Round, right? And those guys, I mean, just fantastic guys. Like, I mean, like, I don't know what your opinions are of new metal. You might not like it, you might love it. It was lukewarm water for me. Like, I like the guys that were doing the thing. I would go on tour with them. It would be a lot of fun. Yeah. And I always felt like family with those guys. So they were like, we're going on tour in October. Do your job until then, and then we'll pick you up, and you'll be on the tour doing merch. With my buddy Luke, who I did merch with forever, and is just still one of my best friends. So that tour ended up getting canceled. So it wasn't so much me not taking the job,
just didn't happen,
as it didn't happen, and it got postponed, right? And so about 6 months later, they're like, hey, do you still want to go out? And so I went from having like the part-time job that I was at in this tech firm to having a full-time job with this tech firm and having health benefits and the whole deal. And I was like, I'm going to pass. 13 years later, I'm still at this tech firm, right? And so like, it wasn't so much my great decision making as much it was my good fortune that, look, I didn't end up being a road crew guy for the next 13 years. I ended up working at this tech firm that I really love and that is really something I'm passionate about. So that's probably the one job where I missed that. Not only am I most grateful that I missed that, it's just like it's the most fortunate miss of all time.
Right. So if you have kids in the room, tell them to leave. I will talk about my career move that did not happen. It is not as awesome as these guys is because I did not make my wife based upon it. I did not go out and get addicted to drugs. I was living upon graduation from the Northern Illinois University. I went out west with two buddies, and I was in Arizona. And in 2000, graphic designers were growing on trees. So I could not get a job to save my life. So I needed to find work somehow. And one of the jobs that I took was working for Alice Cooper at his restaurant in downtown Phoenix. And while that is not the job I'm talking about, it was a great job because I met a lot of people that were my age that like to drink a lot, like to hang out. I met a lot of good friends and a lot of like longtime friends, which eventually propelled me into next stages of life. But like there was great. So while I was working for Alice Cooper, I was applying for every graphic design job that came like around in Arizona. And one of them that came up was a graphic designer for a little place called Castle Megastore. And if you're not from Arizona, you don't know what Castle Megastore is. But Castle Megastore is the biggest purveyor of adult entertainment in this like Phoenix area. So
very horny.
Wow.
If you looked into
that sounds like rest stop type stuff.
So it wasn't the graphic designer for the actual company. What they were doing was importing all of these movies from China, from the Philippines, from wherever they're making all these porns, and they needed somebody to convert the covers into English covers.
So we're listening to the opportunity missed on this one.
Yeah, pretty much. So I remember going to the initial interview with the Castle Megastores and going and being in
I need to know the screening process for this.
I just
imagine he walks in a suit, everyone else is naked.
No. A 23-year-old My Sock Summer did not wear a suit. He had a nice yellow shirt, probably with a yellow tie or some shit. So I just remember...
Was Curious George with you?
No. I mean, it wasn't... a lot of pastels. So I remember going to the first interview and going, okay, well, while I'm working at Alice Cooperstown, one of the number one ad guys is coming in there with talent. And I remember seeing them and saying, hey, I applied for this job. He's like, dude, I know. I got you. And then literally, and I'm not even shitting you, 3 weeks later, 9/11 happened. And apparently everyone's dick got limp because they did not need My Sock Summer to come in to fucking design covers for import porn anymore.
Oh my goodness.
I got shelved. So it was an interesting time in my life because I remember going to the interviews and calling my mother, who is very Catholic, and saying, hey, I have a really good shot at landing this job. And she's like, I want you to find a job. I just won't tell people what you do. And I say, and so
That is that's every mother's dream.
so
Thing is,
What does your son do? I can't tell you.
I can't tell you.
But he doesn't sell drugs.
He's a designer.
I'll be honest with you. When people think about 9/11, they don't think about those types of people.
The little things that just happened, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
you're a victim.
That is not. Yeah, that is not. I gotta feel. I
don't go there when
I don't feel bad for you.
I don't.
in
No,
this
no.
situation.
When I watch a documentary about 9/11, I don't think
I don't-
about you. I
don't-
don't
I don't think-
go there with that.
I don't think about the impact on the Philippine porn
Yeah, it,
industry.
like,
I'm just saying.
that you were the down ripple effect.
thing is,
of.
like Southeast Asian porn wasn't able to come through, so my suck summer had to make $10,000 less that year. I don't even think about that. Well, maybe I should. I should think about that. Right?
No. You don't need to think
Are you
about
on
that.
the monument?
No, I'm not saying feel sorry for me. I'm just saying because of that.
Is
this
his
is
name
what
there,
happened.
or is it the name of the company? That's at the monument.
It's just the drawing
This
of a
is this.
dick.
This is this great.
All right.
Anyway,
All
no, but that was the thing, and how my life would have changed is that I probably wouldn't be here with you guys right now.
Because you'd
sitting
be in
around the
porn.
table. No, I'd be definitely married and divorced by Brianna Banks by now. Might have 3 children.
Brianna
Might
Banks.
not. I might still be trying to hey, let me design your porn cover. Give me $60. You know, who
might-
knows? We don't know. We don't know what would happen, but that did not happen. I ended up working for a major golf company doing custom logo design on bags. Did Tony Klukok's bag, which was pretty awesome.
So you still ended up working in ball bags.
I did fine.
It's
Yeah,
So,
still
Summer, let me
definitely
ask you a
sticks
question
and
about.
bags, yeah.
Can I ask you a question about the porn cover design? Is that like the sort of thing that's cornered by like only one or two people?
Well,
Like,
I think,
like the same people always get that job. Like they're always like.
Is it like the
sent in on them?
voiceover job?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is
Yeah,
it sort
yeah.
of like once they get familiar with you,
It's-
then you're in?
It's one dude out of his house in Michigan doing all of the porn covers for the whole
That's
world.
what I'm wondering. I'm just sort of curious about that.
I would think that because it was Castle Mega stores in Arizona were pretty big. Like there was a lot of them, and the funny thing was they were porn stores that looked like castles. So you'd go into the castle and you would buy porn,
It looked like medieval times.
like a white, yeah.
Was
Like,
a
what
porn
do you
shop.
want? Yeah.
Bud
But
Light
no,
has transformed that into commercials now.
I'm assuming,
somehow.
yeah, dilly
Yeah.
dilly,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no, that was my one job that I almost got that didn't happen.
All right. Well, I need one
Could have
more.
been totally different.
I need one more ad read out of you for our event on December 21st. If you got it in you.
December 21st, Festivus for the rest of us. We will be at Low Res Brewery on 2101 South Carpenter at 6 p.m. on Friday, December 21st. That's in Pilsen, Chicago. It's a neighborhood in Chicago, not that far away from Bridgeport. And we will be drinking fantabulous craft beer, things that you would never see again. They make really great stuff, very unique stuff. We are going to have a poll. We are going to have airing of the grievances. And it's going to be a great time. And it's free as fuck, as
It is free,
pointed
except for
out.
the booze. I mean, obviously.
Right. Oh, I mean, come on. I'm just saying you don't have to pay $20 to walk in the door to see our poll.
So yeah, here's the thing: it's the first in the 108ing tour, and much like your heroin dealers that we talked about earlier, the first one's
Some is
free.
free.
So
Hell yeah.
get out here, check it out. If you like what you got, there's going to be a whole bunch more throughout the season and throughout the off season. So
That's right. It'll be us, and it'll be Sox Machine. At
Yeah.
a minimum, it'll be Josh Nelson from Sox
Yes.
Machine. We're not sure who else might come.
Gyms
Might
might have to plow some
We'll see.
fields.
we
don't
might
know.
rack up a few other guests,
That's
and
correct.
we'll definitely have Wally Money and Aloha Mr. Hand
Yep.
on hand.
That's correct.
And they're more than willing to talk baseball with you.
Yes.
Wally will talk all kinds of stuff with you.
Wally's
So,
more than willing doing
you
a
know,
lot of things with you.
Just
There's no question.
maybe wear an extra set of pants if you're going to
Yeah,
be.
don't
Wally
wear
Raleigh.
sweatpants.
He's a touchy feely kind of guy. He's going to get in there. So just be prepared. So
Don't stay away from his girlfriend either. Don't sleep on her because she might. You never know.
whoa. So all right. So we're into the end of the show. We're just a little bit over 2 hours at this point.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's never going to be this short again.
No.
So And by the way, if you thought like if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, they probably cut some parts out. Trust me, we didn't.
We did not. Not even one little bit.
We wanted a little segment here. We're gonna call it Last Call. We're all finishing up our last drinks, possibly.
I don't know.
We might have a couple more
Probably pour
afterwards.
one more,
Yeah,
at least.
there's quite a bit of vodka still
we'll
left
probably
there.
pour that.
So
Holy shit, that's class.
So each of us is going to go around with a topic that we want to talk about, and we're gonna talk it out. They should probably be short, but maybe they're not going to be. We'll see. Depends on if we're talking about Philippine porn or if we're talking about something else. So let's get into it. I'm going to let Beef Loaf go first. I feel like he's excited to talk about something.
Okay, so initially, coming up into today, I was going to bring up the Bill James tweet. But then, of course, life happened. And so I got to bring up some other topics. So
I like that you say I was going to bring up the Bill James tweet. Like
we all
me
know
or
what
my
you're
sock
talking
summer
about.
know what you're talking about.
Well,
First of
it
all,
was-
the only Bill I know is Bill Burr.
It was big.
Okay, I heard he was at the Chicago Theater.
It was big, and we can talk about it later. Not on air, but off air, if you'd like. But we're not going to. So I get up this morning, get out of the house, realize
Totally spilled on the flag.
that my car is bone dry. I got to get some gas. So pull up to my normal gas station I always go to. Pretty much my normal pump I always go to. I do the thing. I start pumping gas. I'm just standing there. I'm
Dad
literally
starts
standing
emptying.
right next to the gas pump as it's going. And I'm such a big, fat, fucking reckless rhino that I take a few steps back and I literally snap off the metal door that covers up my gas cap. So I'm standing at the gas station holding the metal door that covers my gas cap and my fucking gas cap. And as I look at the meter, there's still like $15 worth of gas to pump in there. And I'm so fucking embarrassed. And I'm looking around, I'm like, I hope no one sees me. And the gas keeps going, I'm like, hurry up, hurry up. I see someone come walking out, and they walk right at my line of sight, and they look quick, and they look away fast because they're embarrassed
They feel
as
bad
fuck
for
for
you.
me. They're like, what is that fat fuck doing holding what's left of his door that covers his gas cap? So my question for you guys is, do you know anyone is put together, organized in their life as me, who fucks up dumb stuff as much as I do, who does dumb shit like that as often as... I mean, I split my pants when I was taking my daughter to school.
Split your pants?
I've shit my pants at work. Like, you know anyone who has their life so together that makes such humongous fucking mistakes like this?
So I've got a guy who's he's a friend of mine. He's a really good guy, but like and I won't use his last name because it's like his nickname, but I use it like that's just him. Like I'll go, that's a so and so move, you know. This motherfucker, it was. You know, one of my buddies was moving out to Amsterdam. Actually, I just went and saw him, and so a couple of us got together, and our one buddy, he organized it. He's like, let's everyone make sure we get out and see him before we go. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll be there, you know. So I get there. Everyone else gets there. This guy who organized it, not yet there, right? It is October, but this is like 2 years ago. It got really cold around this time, and it was like a 30-degree day in October. And so we meet up, and this guy is fucking like 2 hours late for like a happy hour on a Wednesday. And so everyone's kind of getting ready to go. This guy shows up. No jacket, no nothing. Just in a fucking t-shirt. Just shows up. And we're like, what are you doing? It's 30 degrees out. He's like, I forgot my jacket today. I was like, it was 30 degrees when you left the house.
Right.
What the fuck is happening? Plus, you're 2 hours late to the thing you organized. So yes, I know some people that are fucking like that.
I think you're a victim of bad circumstance. I think it has nothing to do with you. like you can't help that you broke off the probably steel part of your car. It's not your fault.
Yes, I can. I could not run into it and not break it.
I mean, it's just.
Do you know anyone else who's done that ever?
No.
Who's and not even like
this is Tommy Boy shit.
That is Tommy Boy shit, right?
Tommy Boy shit.
I walked through it. It wasn't like I left it open and I drove away and it snapped off. No. My big fat body crushed it and ripped it right off of there.
So
that's beautiful.
As the oldest member of the 108 here, right? I'm a mere 1 year older than Beefloaf.
Yes.
When Beefloaf talked about how he had shat his pants at work, I was like, man, that's some incontinent shit, right? Like, I don't know how that happens. I'm not aware of like how that goes down. But I went to the grocery store. I have 2 daughters. I stay home and watch them and then do this part-time, do the graphic design thing part-time, sell a hell of a lot of shit on eBay part-time. And I was at the grocery store picking up groceries because my wife makes more money than me. And I was going home, and right before I was going to leave, I was like, you know what? My sock Summer, you should go take a piss. And then my sock Summer goes, no, I don't need to take a piss. We're going to go home. We're going to go directly home. We're going to be fine. So I get both the girls loaded in the car, which is a hell of a lot more work than you think it's going to be. And I am literally 2 blocks away from the grocery store. And I'm like, all right, here it comes. I'm going to piss my pants. And I'm like, okay, I'm in my 40s. I remember going to opening day, I want to say 2014, and my dad paid a guy $20 to go ahead of him in line to piss in a porta-john. And I was thinking, fuck, I should have told my dad to take a piss before we left the stadium. But now I totally understand why my dad floated that guy at 20, which the guy didn't take, but doesn't matter. It's not good for the story. Because you did not want to piss yourself.
Did you piss your pants?
Oh, I totally pissed my pants. In the car. Yeah.
Respect.
In the car. Like, I walked
fantastic.
in, and I want to say my daughter was like, Daddy, you all wet. And I was like, yeah, Daddy just fucking totally pissed himself in our brand new car. That was great. Which doesn't smell, by the way. So if you ever see it on eBay or e-cars or whatever the fuck it is. I just
envisioned Little Miss Shortstop holding the story until Mommy's home to tell her.
Now listen. We'll say this. Little Miss Shortstop definitely pissed herself in that car many a time. So we are on the same plane. I am still winning.
She's a child, man.
Well, I'm saying after she started potty training. I'm just saying. She is a child.
How's your potty training going?
Not good.
All right.
Did you have something?
While I'm pissing myself, let me ask you guys this question. I had a far less controversial question. Apparently, it is the holiday season. It's upon us. Apparently, Black Friday starts not the day after Thanksgiving anymore, but the day after Halloween.
The day of Thanksgiving.
Me and Cornsey are very upset about this in many respects. We yell at the TV quite often when commercials come on.
That sounds reasonable.
But here's the thing. Oh yeah, there's no reason in this household. Yeah. All right, let's just get the fuck out of there with that.
Yeah,
we're the ones with fucking ornaments full of vodka. All right,
like several.
Are you expecting us to
which
be
we're
like
enjoying right now? By the way,
what's up?
Which we are enjoying right now.
Yeah, they're good. It's good for you. Very healthy. So my question though is about a holiday drink that I myself enjoy. But where are you guys on eggnog? How you feeling on eggnog? Let's get it out.
I'll start it out. Do you want me to start?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you start it off.
Oh, let me start it off then.
You start
because you guys you're confused. So, from my perspective, from a guy who hates eggs, like you know me, like
yes.
I'm a breakfast guy, but I'm not an egg guy, which is counterintuitive.
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
It is very weird.
I don't really like eggs. I can't think of anything else that I put nutmeg in. But eggnog is like one of my go-tos during the holiday season. Like I wait till the holiday season and I get excited for a good eggnog, and I'll throw any different kind of liquor in it. You know, whether it be rum or whiskey or even vodka. You know, you get it mixed up. It's a good time. I enjoy it. It's thick. It's
It
thick,
is
you know.
thick.
It's loadish, but
It's 108 thick,
It's
if you will.
Yeah, it is 108 thick, but it's delicious. I like it. What are your thoughts on eggnog?
I'm gonna go with I like eggnog, but in small doses. It's like a cyanide special brew when I was in college. You don't want to drink too many of them because there's a shitload of sugar in there, and you're gonna get a headache. The eggnog that my next door neighbor, my folks' ex next door neighbor, actually, because I moved, used to make was this loaded with brandy and all sorts of other shit, and it would just fuck you up, right? You got to put that shit on ice, get a little water in there so you don't get all fucked up. So I would say I am pro eggnog, especially the alcoholic kind. Yes.
I'm also pro eggnog. It's like a perfect drink to have just a couple.
Yeah.
Sit in front of the TV, watch some movie, watch some Christmas movie.
Watch The Grinch, bro.
Watch one of the movies that you're probably gonna. I mean, I don't cry for movies, but when it's the holidays, those are the only movies I cry. Okay.
The Grinch?
So, well, not the Grinch. No.
What other holiday
you
movies
cry
do
during
cry
Elf.
at?
You cry during Elf.
No, not during
motherfucker.
Elf. No, I'll cry during It's a Wonderful Life. I'll
Okay.
cry at the end of Scrooged. There's a few holiday
So
movies I'll cry at the
you
end of.
just mentioned something. Let me
Yeah.
throw this out there.
Yeah, hold on.
No,
Get on in.
This is not
Get
about
on.
you crying.
Yeah.
It's not about you crying. It's a Wonderful Life. I love that movie just like you do. I think
It's a great movie.
We have a lot of great It's a Wonderful Life memories with the whole
Yeah.
family doing the Christmas Eve thing.
There's no
watching
question.
that.
Yes.
Pottersville seems like way more fun than whatever the fuck where the Bedford Falls or whatever it is.
Bedford Falls.
Pottersville had like all the places we would go.
Pottersville
was a 108ing paradise, if I remember the movie correctly.
Well, kinda, because Pottersville is like fun when you're like 22, but then when you're living in a slum when you're 38, less fun. So I don't think it's as fun. I think Bedford Falls is fun for us now, but when we were younger, just out of college, maybe Pottersville is fun for a little
So
bit.
it's Russian Division, and now you live 6 blocks from Russian Division, and you're like, oh, I fucking
I hate that
this.
place. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
So what is your last call?
I don't really have a last call, and I think that it's mostly because I just had the question of the week, and I was impressed with your guys' answers. And I think that was great. I just don't have anything to really contribute. I don't want to throw something out there that's kind of like, not up to par, not up to snuff.
Well, that's very disappointing.
I'm sorry. What should we talk about? Should we talk about something?
I'm totally disappointed.
What do
in
you want me to say?
We're trying to get to the 2 hour and 30 mark,
Right, I'm
and
just
you're
saying,
ruining
I
it.
don't want to. I just don't want to throw something up that we're going to riff on for
No,
another 15 minutes.
I'm just messing with you. So I think
and plus I'm getting way wasted because we're now getting into the vodka, and it's I don't know.
I think it's
Well, it's
about
mostly
time.
ginger ale. It's okay.
I think it's about time to call
Yours
it quits
is.
on the
Let's
show.
do it.
This is obviously the first podcast that we've done. It's the inaugural episode.
Yes, it is.
We had some shit that we probably won't talk about
Josh-
the next time.
Josh is on vacation, so I'm going to edit this.
It's
So
gonna be wonderful.
good luck, world, listening to this. But we're gonna cut it off here, and I just want to thank everyone who has supported us to this point, and to everyone who listened to this entire thing.
Congrats.
Thank you for holding on throughout this whole thing, and I hope,
Hell of a run there.
I hope you were entertained, and I hope to entertain you a whole shitload more. We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do Sunday soaks. We're gonna do blogs. We're gonna do a lot of live videos. Me and My Sock Summer are gonna do Saturday smokes during this season.
That was great. The Saturday smoke was great.
We're gonna give you so much fucking content. You're gonna hate us. It's gonna be like, TV. But really, I want to thank everyone who's supported us so far, and for
appreciate
everyone
it.
who's going to keep doing
yeah.
that. And for people who are listening to this like a year from now, I'm really sorry about the Nick Magical thing I said earlier. So
Let's salute all the haters too.
Thank you.
We have like at least 2.
thank you to everyone. We will see you very soon.
Come buy
And
some merch at our merch store.
We will see you in the 108 or at the 108ing tour. And November 30th will be out. December 21st will be out.
Low Res Brewing.
Take a look at our timeline on both Facebook and Twitter. We'll have those things up. Enjoy those. Peace out. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Cheers.